Good evening, my spookies. Tonight we're plugging straight into the kind of horror that doesn't stay safely behind the screen. A lonely girl starts seeing a face in the code and realizes reality may be softer, stranger, and more dangerous than anyone ever told her. A doorway between worlds yawns open, and suddenly, vampires, alternate Earths, and an impossible power are no longer somebody else's problem, and somewhere in the dark, an old typewriter starts clacking away, bringing killers and revenge to life, one page at a time. These are stories about the moment imagination stops being harmless. What happens when a signal comes through, a portal stays open, or a machine decides it knows exactly what you want. So, get cozy, keep one eye on the monitor, and make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcasting app, because every Wednesday, there's a brand new scary story right here on Weekly Spooky. Now, let's log on. Ghosts in the Machine by Shane Migliavacca. She's a weirdo. She's a weirdo, Marcy Collins chanted under her breath as Janet Rogers walked by with her lunch. Marcy and her pack of hyenas sat at their table staring daggers at the new girl. She couldn't understand why they hated her so much. Janet had just moved to Foster, New York with her Aunt Tina. Her parents had died in a car accident a year ago, and since then, she'd been taken in by her mother's sister. They'd moved to Foster so Tina could take care of her sick mother. Janet's grandmother scared her a little. She was very religious and not above cracking you on the knuckles if you got out of line, not to mention her vicious little dog, Jasper. Although, since they'd moved in, the old woman hadn't been too bad, due to her sickness, no doubt. Whatever the case, Janet would rather be in her room at that big old house than here getting harassed in the cafeteria. Janet found a table in the corner, by the window. She nibbled on her slice of pizza while reading a book, trying to ignore the drama around her, trying not to think about her mom and dad. Having an emotional breakdown in front of Marcy and the others would sink her already shaky reputation at school. After lunch, Janet waited for the cafeteria to clear out a little. Gathering up her books, she headed for the exit, hoping to slip out and head towards her next class. Marcy and her crew already appeared to have taken off, powdering their noses, no doubt, and gossiping in the bathroom. She'd just stepped out into the hall when a voice cut through her like a knife through butter. "Where you headed, plebe?" Janet spun around to see Marcy standing there with her pack of hyenas. The other girls snickered. If only Janet could do what she envisioned, knocking Marcy on the floor with one punch. "Leave me alone." "Where do you buy your clothes?" one of the girls asked. "Salvation Army, I bet," answered another. Marcy pawed at Janet's stack of books. "What's with all the books? You're always reading. Think you're better than us?" "No, just leave me alone." One of the girls shoved Janet, making her drop her books. A group of students stood watching, laughing and clapping, as Marcy and her pals pushed Janet back and forth, till the dazed girl landed on her butt on the floor. Before she could react, they gathered up her fallen books and ran off. Scrambling to her feet, Janet shot daggers at the other kids. "Thanks for nothing." She ran down the hall trying to catch Marcy and her books. Rounding a corner, Janet noticed Marcy running up the stairs to the second floor. "Come on, slowpoke, geez, too many snacks?" Janet weaved through the kids milling about in the hallway in hot pursuit of Marcy, who was now on the third floor. Adrenaline and anger the only things keeping her going. Marcy darted into a room at the end of the hall. Music class. Empty this period. When Janet skidded into the room, Marcy was standing in front of one of the windows. The open window overlooked an alley behind the high school. Marcy dangled one of the books out of the window. She grinned upon seeing Janet. "Want it?" "Don't." "Oopsie." Marcy dropped the book, quickly grabbing another as Janet charged at her. She flung the second book before Janet could reach her. Enraged, Janet grabbed her by the arm, yanking Marcy away from the window. "What's all this?" an authoritative voice asked. The girls turned. In the door stood the white-bearded, burly music teacher, Mr. Fraser. "What the?" he stammered, equally angry and perplexed. "What the French toast are you girls doing in my classroom?" After spending the rest of the day in the principal's office, trying to explain what Marcy had done, Janet went to the alley behind the school where her book lay scattered about. Trying not to break down on the spot, she gathered her books up. Principal Palmer promised the other girls would return the rest tomorrow. Of course, he'd let Marcy off with a lame warning. Her dad was a prominent local lawyer. Some of these books had been her father's. He'd been a college professor. That's what she got for bringing them to school. Since they'd moved here, Janet had a target on her back. She dressed in grungy-looking clothes and liked to read, the opposite of Marcy and her pals. Janet should have expected they'd escalate things. Walking home, Janet wanted nothing more than to bury her head in a pillow and not come up until Saturday morning. She prayed Aunt Tina was in a good mood. Of course, that depended on how much trouble Grandma had been today. The house was the last on the left of a one-way street. The 3-story monstrosity had once really been something. Her grandparents had been pretty well off years ago. Not so much now. The house had fallen into disrepair. Paint was chipping off the outside, and wind had torn some of the tiles off the roof. Jasper came yipping and snarling at her as she entered the house. "Go play in traffic," Janet glared. "You little turd." Entering what had been her grandfather's study, the dog hot on her heels, Janet set the books down on the old desk. She'd put them away later. Right now, she needed something cold to drink. The large kitchen was empty. Maybe Aunt Tina was upstairs. Taking a can of soda from the fridge, Janet popped it open. She nearly downed the can's contents in one gulp, cold soda dribbling down her chin. Lowering the can, Janet jumped backwards. Her grandmother sat in a wheelchair staring at her. "What are you doing in here?" the old woman asked. "Just getting a drink." "Who are you?" the old woman cried out. "It's me, Graham. Janet." "Who? Jane? I don't know any Jane." The old woman backed up her wheelchair. "Get out of my house." "It's Janet, your granddaughter." "You lie. I have no granddaughter." "Aunt Tina! Aunt Tina!" Janet hollered, scared and a little confused. The old woman wheeled away, threatening to call the police. After a few moments, Tina came storming into the kitchen, looking frazzled. "What's wrong?" Janet felt a hot tear rush down her cheek. "Graham, she doesn't recognize me," she sobbed. "Said she was going to call the cops." "Calm down, honey," Tina smiled. "I'll talk to her. Stay here." Tina left, leaving a confused Janet to dry her face and ponder what had just happened. She felt her head spin. First Marcy, and now her grandma. How could the day get any worse? Suddenly, the dirty dishes in the sink began to shake, vibrate, before flying out of the sink and crashing to the floor, shattering. She scrambled back, startled just in time for her aunt to come back. Tina looked at the dishes, then the shaken Janet. "What happened?" I don't know." She tried to explain to her aunt what had happened, sensing the woman didn't buy it one bit. "Is Graham okay?" Janet asked, sweeping up bits of broken plates. "It's her mind. The disease is affecting it. She's having trouble distinguishing memories from the past with those of the present, so for her, reality is one big jumble." Laying in bed that night, Janet stared up at the ceiling. Thunder rumbled in the distance as it started to rain outside. Her thoughts were focused on something from one of her father's books. What was reality? Was it high school? Her aunt? The storm outside? Or was it just through her eyes? Was it all created by her mind? If that was true, could she bring her parents back? No, she'd wished so hard for them to be alive and well after the accident. And nothing had happened. Eventually, she dozed off to the sound of rain pouring down outside. Waking again sometime later to the sound of rain hammering the house, a large thunderclap that rattled the entire building. All the rain was making Janet need to use the bathroom. A little groggy, she fumbled her way out of the bedroom, guided by bright flashes of lightning outside. Her bedroom was on the 3rd floor. When her mother and Tina had been little, their bedrooms had been up here. and when they'd grown up and left, it had been turned into storage space and a guest room. Unfortunately, there was no bathroom on this floor, which meant she'd have to go down to the second floor. Stepping into the hall, the drip, drip, drip of the bucket at the end of the hall greeted her. She'd have to remember to check that in the morning. The roof was leaking up here, and she had bucket patrol. Janet had forgotten one day, and one of the buckets had overflown. The water had dripped down to the second floor. Halfway to the stairs, and lightning lit up the night again. Janet froze in her tracks as a woman stood watching her at the end of the hall. "Aunt Tina?" she asked, her voice quivering. "Is that you?" Standing there, Janet could only hear her own breathing. Darkness enveloped her until the next flash of lightning. The woman stood closer now, reaching out for her. In the brief flash, she could make out that it wasn't her aunt. Bolting, Janet ran back to her bedroom. She sat on her bed after blocking the door with her dresser, listening to the storm outside while never taking her eyes from the blocked entrance. That woman, in that brief glimpse of her, there had been something familiar about her. She tried to place where she'd seen that face before. Her fatigue got the better of her, and towards morning Janet fell asleep for a couple of hours. She woke to knocking at her bedroom door. "You awake?" her aunt asked. "You'll be late." I'm up, Janet answered, clearing the cobwebs from her head. Janet looked across at her door. The dresser she'd pushed in front was back where it belonged. Had it been a dream? That strange woman? There wasn't much time to ponder last night as Janet hurried to get dressed and ready for school. She scarfed down some breakfast and headed out to wait for the bus. Third period, Janet sat in computer class working on her project. She tried to concentrate on the work that needed to be done. Typing in code, something began to change on monitor. The screen flickered. The lines of code began forming a woman's face. Jumping back, Janet looked around the classroom to see if anybody else was experiencing the same thing. They all appeared to be calmly going about their work, some whispering and joking with one another. Nothing out of the ordinary. Turning back to the screen, a face made of green code, vaguely resembling a woman's, stared back at her. "Find me. Find yourself," a voice crackled through the speaker. "I can help unlock the world for you." What? Suddenly, Janet was pushed forward into the desk. Getting hit from behind, she turned to see Marcy and her posse walk by. "See you in gym class, fruitcake." Crap. Gym class. Was the period over already? Turning back to the monitor, the face was gone. Just the code of her project appeared. Quickly saving her work, she headed to the gym, her least favorite place in the whole school. Today they were outside playing field hockey. Of course, she was one of the last chosen. Janet hung back during the game. She wasn't very good at it and tried to stay away from the action. Watching the others play, Janet thought about the face on the computer. It was the woman from the hall last night. She was sure. Although the face was made of computer code, it had the same familiarity to it. She didn't dream that. "Coming at you, weirdo." Marcy glared at her from across the field. She hit the hockey ball towards Janet, ensuring everybody would come charging at her, Marcy included. Janet felt a sharp elbow jab in the ribs, followed by a push, sending her to the ground. Looking up from a face full of grass, she saw Marcy smiling down at her. That was it. Janet got up, jumping on Marcy. She wrestled her to the ground as the game stopped. The other girls cheered as the two fought on the ground, rolling back and forth, throwing punches and pulling hair. The firm hands of Miss Anderson pulled Janet off of Marcy. Most of the girls pointed their fingers at Janet, silently accusing her of starting it. It was off to the principal's office, once again. This time, by herself. They'd called home and left a message on the answering machine for her aunt. Janet considered erasing it, but she was fairly certain the school would call again if they didn't hear from Aunt Tina. She decided to face the music and get it over with. Walking home, Janet dreaded opening the door. Jasper would be barking and nipping at her, not to mention her grandmother. What would the old woman be like today? Then, of course, Tina would get that message from school. It would be nice, at least, if she didn't have to deal with that mean little dog. Jasper reminded her of Marcy. Always yipping at her, she prayed the dog would just run away. A shudder ran through her body as Janet looked up at the house. Letting out a defeated sigh, she walked up the front steps. Turning the knob, she spoke. "Leave me alone, you little turd. Just go away." Entering, the house was quiet. No Jasper. Maybe the little pain in the butt was sleeping. Unobstructed, Janet headed to the kitchen and downed not one, but 2 sodas in rapid succession. She figured she deserved them after today. Looking around, something seemed off about the kitchen. Something Janet couldn't put her finger on. She shrugged. Maybe her aunt had cleaned it or something. Janet headed upstairs. The quiet was starting to unnerve her. She hadn't noticed if the car was in the driveway. Maybe Tina had taken Graham to a doctor's appointment. They moved the old woman's room downstairs once she'd been confined to a wheelchair. She generally stayed away from her grandmother's room. The smell of it bothered her. On the 2nd floor, she went to her aunt's room. Tina was busy dusting off her dresser. There was an assortment of knickknacks, jewelry, and photos covering its surface. Janet lightly knocked on the open door. The woman turned and smiled at her. "Is everything okay?" Janet asked. Tina frowned. "Yes, honey, why?" "It's just so quiet." "Well, your grandmother is taking a little afternoon nap." "Jasper taking a nap with her?" Tina tilted her head, a perplexed look etched on her face. "Who's Jasper, honey?" "Graham's mean little dog, always barking." Tina shook her head. "Your grandmother's never had a dog." Was it possible? Had she made the dog disappear? No, the strange woman on the screen, the apparition in the hall, she'd done it. She'd said she could help Janet. Why did that woman's face feel so familiar? A sudden realization hit the girl. Janet looked at the photos on her aunt's dresser. There were pictures of Aunt Tina, her grandmother, and of her, but none of her mother or father. In fact, try as she might, Janet couldn't recall what her parents looked like. She felt light as a feather as her room, no, the whole house, spun about her. For a second, she could see something else. The bits that formed the universe, that made up everyone and everything. It suddenly became too much, and she passed out. When Janet woke, she was lying in darkness, barely able to make out the faintest details of her room in the dark. She sat up straight upon seeing the woman standing at the foot of her bed. The woman reached out with an open hand. "Are you my mother?" Janet asked. The woman merely smiled, filling Janet with an overwhelming sense of peace. Without hesitation, she reached out. The woman took her hand, and Janet felt oneness. An instant later, morning sun spilled in through the windows. She was alone, the woman nowhere to be seen. The past few days seemed nothing more than a distant, half-forgotten dream. From downstairs came the delicious smell of bacon, scrambled eggs, and hash browns. Hurrying down to the dining room, Janet found the table set for 4. "Well, someone's bright and bushy-tailed this morning." A man stood in the door leading to the kitchen. A pipe in one hand, large Coke bottle glasses hung down on his nose. Janet knew this man. "Dad?" "Who else, honey?" "Where did you come from?" What kind of question is that? Where did I come from? I've always been here. We've always been here." The woman from the hall entered holding a large plate of bacon, followed by her Aunt Tina. Janet smiled. She could feel the world was as it should be. Things had been corrected, and she'd fixed them. When she went to school today, she'd fix that. Fix Marcy, too. The world flowed around her. She could feel every speck of it, and how it related to every other speck. In fact, there was another world beyond this one. Perhaps she'd visit that world soon. The monitor beeped, waking Professor Rogers from a dream. He looked at the large computer monitor. Everything appeared in order. All the lights were green. He glanced over at the sleeping girl. A strange device was hooked to her head. Wire ran from it to the computer behind her bed. For all the world, it looked like the tiara a princess would wear. His princess. There was a light rap at the door. It was his assistant, Johnson. "Sorry to disturb you, sir." "Anything wrong? I must admit I dozed off for a little bit." "No, sir, not really. There was a strange echo in there for a while. Then it faded. Your daughter's mind appears to be adapting to the simulation." Rogers rubbed his bloodshot eyes. Good. You should get some sleep. The couch in the break room isn't that bad, really." He nodded. "Actually, that sounds good." He stretched as he took one last look at his comatose daughter. He'd lost his wife in that car accident. He wouldn't lose his daughter, no matter what. "It's a good thing you're doing, sir," Johnson said. "This could help so many others, like your Janet." And after they left, the monitor flickered as a face began to take shape.
Portals by Rob Fields. Prologue, December 22nd, last year. Ariel Mirren unlocked one of the French doors to the 3-story mansion and shoved it open hard. She was heaving, and her eyes were streaming tears. Behind her were some of her immediate circle of friends who had just barely survived their encounter with Queen Arcadia. Ariel was both hurt and enraged at learning that her own mother, Adrian, had sold her to Queen Arcadia to use as her vessel, before she was even born, in exchange for power and riches in the form of becoming the greatest computer programmer of all time. When Ariel was finally at a decent age, Adrian arranged with Isley Tinker to maneuver her daughter to his shop at Strickfield Town Center Mall. There, Ariel would get to sample a prototype video game console in the form of the Virtua. Playing its single game called Christmas Arcadia, she became entranced by the amazing graphics and Queen Arcadia herself. Ariel would come to be possessed by Queen Arcadia. From there, Arcadia would use Ariel as her vessel to attempt to merge her virtual realm with that of the mortal realm. It was 4 of Ariel's friends who believed in her enough to give her the will to purge Queen Arcadia from her body and defeat her. Prior to this, Queen Arcadia had explained the bargain Adrian had made with her. Now Ariel was standing in the middle of her family's living room. She was known to utter blood-curdling screams whenever things didn't go her way, but on this night, she screamed for her mother so loudly that the nearby windows cracked in many places. It hadn't taken Adrian long to emerge and see that her daughter was still alive, and clearly no longer Queen Arcadia's vessel. The look Ariel saw on her mother's face confirmed that Adrian had never truly cared for her in the slightest. Ariel pointed accusingly at her mother and shouted everything that Queen Arcadia had revealed about the bargain. Ariel's friends watched as she went off on her mother the way no daughter ever did. Even little Madeline Donnerly gulped and felt fortunate that Ariel had only ever said that she hated her whenever she herself had gotten under Ariel's skin. "I hate you!" Ariel finished in one final scream. Adrian folded her arms in front of her and rolled her eyes in annoyance. "And what exactly do you intend to do about it, you spoiled little brat?" Ariel pointed right at her. "You want me out of your life so badly? Consider it done." Adrian laughed scornfully. You're going to leave here and never return?" She unfolded her arms. "And where exactly will you go? You're not old enough to get a job anywhere, especially one that would pay you a decent wage. You'll be cut off, so you'll have no money. In fact, I already canceled all your cards." She laughed coldly now. "As of right now, you have absolutely nothing to your name, Ariel Renaissance Mirren." She smirked. "You don't even have a family." Just then, Ariel's father, Battle, walked in and also looked annoyed with Ariel. "I thought you finally got rid of that brat, Adrian." Ariel's friends gasped at how horrible her parents were being to their own offspring. Then Battle looked at them. "And you bring your welfare recipient friends into our home, Ariel? I agree with your mother. As of now, you have only the clothes on your back." Adrian chuckled again. "That's right, Ariel. That's all I'm allowing you to have. You will claim absolutely nothing else in this house since you didn't pay for any of it." She pointed at her daughter. "You leave here with what you've got. Nothing." Ariel pointed at her parents. "Oh, you... She bellowed one of her blood-curdling screams before she started grabbing objects and throwing them at her parents. Ariel eventually knocked her father unconscious to finally restrain her as she tackled Adrian herself and began hitting her. Ariel broke free of them and faced her mother again. "You think you've seen the last of me?" She shook her head quickly and pointed at her. "Don't you dare think for 1 second this is over. You think I haven't learned the Mirren ways? Oh, I've learned them. Believe me, I've learned them. You just wait and see. It won't be now. It won't be tomorrow. It may not even be next month, but you're gonna wish you'd never made that bargain with Queen Arcadia." Ariel tightened her fists as she laughed scornfully at her mother. When she stopped, she said, "I'm going to destroy you, everything you have, and this rotten community, Mommy dearest." She chuckled. "In fact, I already know how I'm going to gain my revenge on you, you vampire." And without another word, Ariel turned her back on her parents and walked right back out the front door. Her friends were quick to follow her out. Eventually, nothing would ever be the same in Strickfield again. Present day, perspective, Ariel Mirren. It's almost the end of January now. A lot has happened since I came to live with Madeline Donnerly and her family. For a brief time, Mouse was sharing a room with me. Then I came home from school one day to find her parents had turned an unused room into another bedroom, just for me. To be honest, I never had any problem being in Mouse's room with her. Adrienne Mirren had truly washed her hands of me. In fact, she made it legal herself. Last week, she came by the house with her lawyer and presented a document for Mouse's parents to sign, giving them full custody of me. After consulting their own lawyers, Mouse's parents learned the paperwork was legit, no strings attached, and signed it. I'm officially part of the Donnerly household now. Now, Tiffany is usually a pretty punk, laid-back, easygoing kind of woman. She had done plenty of work for Adrian in the past. Not only did Tiffany tell Adrian never to commission her again, but she was no longer welcome at the Donnerly house. "You really ought to be ashamed of yourself," she told Adrian in her silky voice. Adrian left the lawyer's office and never looked back. She wouldn't even acknowledge me once. I can't believe Adrian really just signed me away to Mouse's parents without a second thought. Now I'm under Baxter and Tiffany's guardianship until I turn 18. They have the option to adopt me if they choose to, but I'm not going to push it. Believe me, I know I'm lucky just to have a place to live. To be honest, I've never felt more free and clear in my entire life. Right now, I'm at the Strickfield Town Center Mall with Mouse and Carter Cross. We're helping Tiffany set up the center court for an art exhibit tonight. Tiffany is such a talented artist. Her work is known all throughout this mall. If you look around at the many businesses that are still open here, there's plenty of her artwork on display that she did just for them. Recently, a store called Bobbletopia opened locations in the mall and in downtown Village. They commissioned Tiffany to do some artwork for both stores. Campbell's Sporting Goods is also using the new logos she designed for the 3 learning institutions here in Strickfield for the official clothing they're selling there. The Strickfield Villagers for the public school, the Strickfield Academy Sacraments, and the Strickfield University Serpents. Now that I think about it, Mouse told me this gallery here is being set up in Tiffany's honor. She also said her mom is being presented with the key to the village by Mayor Patrick Gunter himself. "Perfect, Ariel," Tiffany says after I've finished setting up the last sculpture on a mantle. Then she turns to us. "Yeah, you kids are done." Now that I'm also thinking about it, Carter's right about her looking just like Violet from Friday the 13th Part 5. The resemblance is uncanny. "You sure you didn't forget nothing, Mom?" Mouse asks in her mousy voice. "We unpacked a lot of boxes and stuff, you know." Tiffany walks around and gives everything a once-over. Then she looks at us again. No, Maddie. I believe we have everything. If you kids want to take off, I'm going to finish up here and go over my presentation for tonight. Besides, the weather feels like summer out there for the end of January. You better go out and enjoy it while you can. She ain't kidding about that, Carter tells Mouse and me. Maddie? Aunt Tiffany? Another mousy voice calls out. We all turn to see 3 Strickfield High cheerleaders heading our way. In fact, I know all of them. I easily see Mouse's twin cousin, Aileen, who's wearing a backpack. Even though they're a good 5 years apart, Mouse and Aileen look like honest-to-goodness twin sisters. Same faces, same bodies, same mousy voices, same shoulder length and straight dark hair, and even the same glasses. Every time these 2 mice get together, they always have to hug each other. The other 2 cheerleaders are Bella Tabon, who's Aileen's best friend, and my cousin Felicia. I know Bella lives with Aileen at her house and helps pay the bills. Felicia sold her mansion inside the gated community and went to live out in the peacefulness of a real nice cabin in the countryside. Felicia is also the captain of the cheerleading squad at Strickfield High. We all exchange pleasantries. We thought we were just meeting in chance, but the 6 of us were about to have a life-changing adventure we wouldn't soon forget. Perspective, Bella Tabon. The cheerleading squad had a brutal practice today. For the record, Felicia's not the one being a slave driver. Miss Temple, our coach, had a meeting with us before the holiday break and said we got a real shot at getting on ESPN for the cheerleading competition and that we should really push for it. After Miss Temple got a majority vote, we started training harder. Note that I was the only one who said no, mainly because I really hate being a cheerleader. I'm only doing it for Aini. Hey guys, what's going on? I ask when I see Maddie, Carter, and Ariel. As usual, Maddie's wearing a beret and a scarf, like she's some cultured sophisticate. Just helping Mom set up for tonight, Maddie answers. Now you kids are leaving, her mom tells them. Go! Get on your bikes and ride already. Felicia Mirren raises her finger. Yeah, probably not a good idea, Mrs. Donnerly. The winds are really blowing out there. At school, Miss Temple called practice on account of that nasty storm coming this way. Seriously? Carter asks her. It was nice and clear when we biked out here after school. Ariel's looking down at the main mall entrance. Felicia's right. I can see outside those doors. There's some nasty-looking clouds heading this way. Maddie's mom turns to the kids. On second thought, maybe you'd better just stay here. I can take them home ahead of that storm, Felicia offers. My SUV's parked just outside. More than enough room for all of us. What about our bikes? Carter asks. We'll just put a few of them on the racks and another one in back, she says. You sure it won't be a problem? Maddie's mom asks her. No, not at all, Felicia assures her. Then she looks at the kids. What could go wrong? So it was settled. After saying goodbye to Maddie's mom, we walk out the main mall doors. The kids quickly unlock and bring their bikes over. These bikes look like they're right out of the 1986 movie Rad some of us saw at Felicia's cabin after a football game. You guys stunt ride? Felicia asks them. Madeline and I do, Carter answers. Madeline let Ariel have her super goose so she can ride with us. Felicia nods once. Nice. Where do you all live? Oh, it'll be pretty convenient, Maddie says. Ariel and me live together on Main Street near Downtown Village, and Carter lives right next door. We share the same driveway. Sweet, Felicia cheers. Let's get a move on. Now she's looking a bit worried. Anybody feeling a little trip to Oz today? I turn and give her a scowl. Shut up. As usual, Felicia takes me with a grain of salt. There you go, always the Debbie Downer. We all get in the SUV. Soon Felicia's driving toward Main Street. It'll be a few miles before we make the turn. Suddenly, Maddie appears in between Felicia and me. Yeah, what you just said about Oz, Felicia? She points back with her thumb. A great big twisty kinda just touched down back there. I quickly look behind us. Maddie ain't kidding, Felicia. We gotta take shelter yesterday. Hang on, Felicia replies. She quickly turns and heads for the tunnel underneath the abandoned railroad yard. I look back to see that tornado and see lightning coming out of it. Something ain't right about that. Aini and I learned our cheerleading captain's good at driving with a lead foot as fast as she's taking the curves and turns. Before long, she gets us underneath the tunnel and stops. She cuts the motor, and we wait out the tornado. After a while, we all agree to head out. Felicia starts her car back up and drives us to the other side of the tunnel. When we come out, it's raining like Niagara Falls and as dark as night. Felicia's got to go full speed on the windshield wipers. Finally, the rain lets up enough to where we can all see better. Felicia slows the wipers back down. It's right over here, Carter calls up to Felicia. On your right, the brick house. Felicia pulls in the driveway the kids' houses share. We get out and quickly help them with their bikes. Suddenly, Felicia's looking up with wide eyes. You people seeing this? The twin Donnerleys are looking too. I turn with everybody else to see a whole group of people heading right for us. No, scratch that. Try a mob. Run, Aini yells. As soon as we turn and flee, these people are all over the SUV. Felicia shrieks when they just tear her car apart until they all but destroy it. I know I'm definitely ready for a fight. Now those people look right at us and hiss. Their red eyes are all glowing now. Vampires! Ariel yells. We are so dead! Perspective, Madeline Donnerly. Aw, man. We gotta get inside a house, I yell. Now! We quickly run right to my back porch. After Bells gets the door open, she's grabbing and pushing everybody inside. She comes in right behind us and slams and locks the door. We're okay as long as they can't come in, right? Ariel chokes. They have to be invited in first, right? We hope, I squeak. Ariel turns to me fast. You hope? I hate you, Mouse. We're all gathering in the living room. Now I'm seeing something that agrees with what my mousy sense, my tummy's telling me. Is it me or aren't there any windows in this house? Felicia asks. Just then, Mom and Dad appear. Belle's got this weird look on her face. Then I'm realizing myself, hey, wait a minute. Mom, how'd you get home so fast? Did you pick her up at the mall, Dad? Soon as we're all hearing Carter gulp, Mom and Dad suddenly vamp out. So nice of you to come back home to me, Maddie, Mom says. My offer to sire you still stands. Come to me. Be my little girl again. There's nowhere for you to run, Dad stresses. Just surrender yourselves to us, and we'll make it all painless. I promise. Aw, man, why does this keep happening? I groan. What's going on, Maddie? Felicia quickly asks. Speak up. When Ariel's shaking her head fast while looking at me, she knows what I'm gonna say. We're in that vampire universe again, aren't we? I really hate you, Mouse. Now I'm pointing right at her. Oh, no, you didn't, Ariel Mirren. I didn't bring us here. Well, we better get out of here or we're all gonna be food, Carter says, remembering his last time here in October. Bells puts her hands on mine and Carter's shoulders. Then she's looking at Felicia. That's right. She don't know Bells is a vampire. Neither does Ariel. Then Felicia surprises us when Vamp Dad tries grabbing her and she's throwing him right through the wall real easy. Now Felicia's looking at Bells. I know what you are, my friend. I've known for quite a while now. So vamp out already and let's get out of here. Bells gets mad and vamps out. Then she grabs me and Carter and hightails it out. It ain't long before Felicia's leaping right behind us with Aileen and Ariel. We're able to put some distance between us and the vampires. When Bells lands with us, she lets us go. Then she motions for Felicia to bring her two inside the abandoned building where we're hiding out in. We're all safe. For the moment. Bells points right at Felicia. How can you leap and keep up with me? And how do you even know I'm a vampire? Felicia smiles. I think you forgot about your reflection. You and Aileen have been in my new cabin enough times. Only thing I don't get is how you can walk in the daylight. Now Ariel's scared. You're... a vampire, Bella? Bella raises her hands in front of her. Easy, Ariel, I'm on your side. She sighs. I'm a vampire, but I'm my own kind. I walk in the daytime and don't drink blood. Felicia smirks a little. I do. I ain't no vampire, but I got the vampire's diet. I gained the powers of a spider over a year ago. Don't worry, if any of those vamps come at us, I'll know it. Aileen points at her. I knew something wasn't right about you that night you asked me to come to your old house to talk about your cousin Chelsea. That stuff you were drinking was a little too thick to be juice. Also, you always order pizza for everybody after we cheerlead for games, but you never eat a single bite. Felicia sighs. I can at least still enjoy those delicious smells while I'm envying you all. She groans. I can't even put pizza in a blender and puree it. The best I can do is try and season the blood I buy from Strickfield Meats. For the record, I ain't even close to making the blood I buy taste like pizza. Aileen gives me a warm smile. For what it's worth, thanks for always treating us to pizza. Felicia pats her shoulder. I just like taking care of my girls. Now Felicia's folding her arms and looking right at me. Bella and I have our cards on the table. Yeah, I know all about you too, Maddie. Huh? I utter. What you talking about? I saw you once, Felicia tells me. You were at Gunter's Square with Bella and Aileen over the holiday break. Before New Year's, I think. At first, I thought you and Aileen were in trouble and Bella was saving you both from vampires surrounding you. She points at me. Except you pulled out a compact and said a woman's name 3 times. Then you turned into a ghost. I quickly hold up my hands. Okay, I'm coming clean. I reach into my inner jacket pocket and pull out the compact I've been keeping in there. Now I'm looking at Ariel and Carter, my 2 best friends in the whole world. I'm possessed by the ghost of a white witch named Mary Worth. I say her name 3 times in a mirror and let her possess me. She gives me back my body when she's done. I put the compact back in my jacket. I've been going out with Bells and Einie and helping them stop supernatural baddies. When I see him giving me those looks, I know I'm in deep, deep trouble. Why would you keep this from me, Madeline? Carter demands. We've only been friends ever since my family moved next door to yours back in 2nd grade. We've always told each other everything. We always trusted each other. Now Ariel's staring hard at me. Hold it. Now that I'm thinking about it, you did have something to do with Bloody Mary scaring us at one of my sleepovers last fall. Remember when Mona Abels and Bailey Downs and I kept seeing that horrible ghost in our mirrors? She's pointing right at me. You said you never saw her. You lied about that, didn't you? I can't really hide it no more. Guilty, I squeak. Ariel tightens her fists and growls. I hate you, Mouse! She's narrowing her eyes on me. And you're going to tell me everything when we're back home. Now she's rubbing her hands together. You know, I think I'm gonna like being your new big sister. Just then, Felicia brightens into alert attention. Attack! Incoming! My spider instinct just went critical. Suddenly, this giant bat appears right out of the darkness above us and screeches as it flies around. Bells is ready to leap up at it. Then I see Felicia kicking off her sandals and scaling the wall like a spider. The bat flies right at Aileen, but my twin cousin's showing people she's full of surprises. She's got these thingies strapped to her wrist, some of her toys she's built for her and Bells that she was keeping in her backpack. Next thing we know, Aileen's shooting a rope out of one of them and catches the bat. Yipe! Aileen shrieks when the bat's taking her up with it. Felicia? Bells calls out to her. I'll get her, she calls back. I got this. The bat does some fancy flying and catches Aileen in its talons. Aileen's trying to fight it off by shooting one of her cables in its face. The bat answers by quickly sinking its fangs into Aileen's arm. Aileen's screaming now. I'm really scared for my cousin. I quickly pull my compact out of my jacket and open it. Mary Worth! Mary Worth! Mary Worth! Mary Worth! In a matter of seconds, my ghostly friend's taken over my body and using it as her vessel. Even though I'm along for the ride now, I can still see what's going on. Felicia's moving fast as she scales the walls. Then she leaps far and drops right on top of the bat, making it let go of Aileen. Mary utters a spell to soften her fall, but the bat quickly turns upside down and goes back up again, dropping Felicia. Felicia ain't even looking scared when she's shooting webs out of her fingers. They hit the ceiling and make Felicia stop short of hitting the floor. But now, the bat's dropping down and gliding along until it snatches up Ariel this time. No! She yells as the bat's bringing her up into the air. Help me! Next thing we know, the bat's heading to one of the broken out windows up above to flee with Ariel. Perspective, Felicia Mirren. That bat escapes right through one of the upper windows with Cousin Ariel. I quickly spring up and start scaling the walls. Soon as I'm at the broken out window, I'm ready to head out. Suddenly, Bella springs up to jump right through it. Out of my way! I come out through the window myself and start leaping from building to building. I've never been this fast at doing this kind of thing. I'm trying to keep up with Bella and get close enough to that bat to where I can web it. Okay, comic book nerds. When you first saw me last fall, that was both my premiere and my origin issue. I could call this my second issue, but I'm not exactly alone here. Also, I'm not the primary character. You know what? Let's call this issue a superhero team-up. Oh, and you horror buffs are going to get your money's worth out of this story, too. And maybe even all you science fiction people to boot. Bella and I are trying to keep up with that bat, but it's putting distance between us more and more. I hate not being able to fly, Bella yells. You can't change into a bat? I yell back. Don't you think I'd have done it already? She yells louder. I quickly have an idea. As soon as we land on a rooftop, I grab her arm. Hey, can you throw me at that bat? When she looks at me funny, I groan. Just do it! Bella growls as she grabs me and shows me she's amazingly strong when she hurls me at Ariel and the bat. She's definitely stronger than me, no two ways about that. Soon I'm starting to lose momentum. If I'm gonna save Ariel, it's gotta be now. I quickly fire my webs. Thankfully, it ain't windy or my webs would be going in other directions. They go. Yes! Both my sticky webs hit their marks. The bat flaps its wings faster to try and shake or break my webs. I can't let that happen. Only one thing to do. I concentrate and soon feel my body changing from a human female who can do spider things into a more powerful, giant mutant spider creature. I'm growing additional legs and feeling gray fur sprouting all over my body. I'm also getting another set of eyes and a pair of antennas. The only bad thing about changing into my cute and cuddly spider self is that I lose my clothes aside from t-shirts and tops. I also weigh a lot more in my spider form. As I'm starting to head toward the earth again, I quickly fire some more webs and hit another building. I pull myself to it where I can stick tight. Yeah, you come on back here now, I tell the bat as I'm reining it in. You got something that belongs to me. The bat keeps screeching like nobody's business and flapping real crazy. Help me! Ariel shrieks. The bat's finally got to make a choice. When it drops Ariel, I spring from the building and fire my webs to catch hold of my cousin and bring her to me. I shoot a few more webs and am soon walking tightrope on them. As soon as we're on the rooftop of an apartment building, I set Ariel down. She's not sure what to make of me now. I raise my claw-like hands in front of me. It's okay, cousin. It's me, Felicia. Then Bella's suddenly right there. You really weren't kidding about the whole being a spider thing, Felicia. She looks at Ariel. You okay? Ariel puts her hands to the sides of her head. What is going on here? Cousin Felicia's a giant spider. You're a vampire. Mouse is a ghost. Aileen's a monster hunter. We're in another universe, apparently? She lowers her arms. We're in serious trouble here, aren't we? We're still alive, I remind her. Then look at Bella. Except maybe you, right? Bella glares at me. I'm alive, she sighs. Okay, maybe quasi-undead. I don't breathe, sweat, or have to use toilets. She sighs again. Ariel, none of us are gonna hurt you. Now, what say we get back to the others so they know you're okay? Ariel nods. I'd like that. Bella looks my way. You gonna stay like that? I smirk. Until I can get some pants or shorts. Bella gets it now. Oh. Perspective, Carter Cross. I'm always feeling butterflies whenever I see Ariel Mirren. You'd think it'd be nice and calm. When I see Bella and a giant spider, probably Felicia, coming in with her, the butterflies are going off in my stomach again. Ariel gets off Felicia's back and is on the floor now. You okay, Ariel? Aileen asks. A little scared, she admits. At least I'm alive. She turns to the giant spider. Thanks to my cousin here. Now I'm seeing the ghost of Mary Worth. She seems to be looking over Aileen. You do not appear to show any signs of infection, the ghost tells her. Bella's right there now. Do you feel any different, Aini? I feel fine, Bells, she says. In fact, I'm all healed up already. Bella says to the ghost, Thank you. I cannot accept your thanks, Bella Tabon. It was not I who healed Aileen. Now Bella's looking at Aileen, really worried now. I gotta admit, I'm really amazed at Felicia. I can't believe she's a giant spider. Like what you see? She asks me. You're really real, I manage to say. No makeup or special effects. Felicia laughs a little. Nope. Then I look at Bella. You want to know the truth? I already knew you were a vampire from the time we were here back on Halloween weekend from the horror-thon. You never glammed me to make me forget. Don't worry, I never told nobody. Bella smiles. That's why I didn't glam you. And thanks for keeping my secret. Then Mary Worth raises Madeline's compact and returns into the mirror. Madeline's back with us again. Okay, what do we do now? Madeline asks. We can't stay in here all night. Scratch that. It's always night here. Maddie's right, Aileen agrees. We need to come up with a plan. I think I have a bit of an idea. We've all been here at least once, aside from Felicia. Why don't we recap everything and see if we can generate some ideas? Bella turns to Felicia. You're about to get brought up to speed on this alternate vampire universe, new girl. We've all been here before at least once. Ariel turns to Madeline. What does this make for you now, Mouse? 3 times? Madeline groans. Aw, man. Way to rub it in, Ariel. The 5 of us who've been to this vampire universe before talk about what we've done and how we got back home again each time. Then Ariel throws something out there. You know, it seems like every time we've managed to go home, something keeps happening to bring us back here. She looks around at everybody. I know I'd rather not ever have to come back here again, assuming we make it home again. Maybe what we should do is find where these doorways to our universe are being made and put a stop to them once and for all, because you know those vampires are just going to keep opening up portals. The rest of us quickly agree. Good thinking, princess, I say. Now she smacks my arm. I got exiled from my kingdom, and you're still calling me princess? I raised my hands in front of me. Okay, sorry. Ariel calms down. Oh, I guess it's okay, Carter. Now we just need a plan. And I'm thinking I got one, Madeline pipes up. Ariel, remember when it was us girls at Strickfield Town Center Mall last time? Remember how Vampire Mayor Gunter said he made it all happen? I'm thinking a few of us can go to his office and do some snooping. Based on where we are, Maddie, we can't just walk there, Aileen tells her. We can try and double back to our houses and see if we still got our mongooses, I say. Or I can hotwire a car and take us to the mayor's office, Bella says. Problem is, as soon as those vampires see a car going, they're going to be chasing us down. And between you and me, Bella, we can't fight that many off, Felicia says. Oh, I got an idea for that too, Madeline pipes up. We get 2 cars going. One's the decoy. While the vamps follow that one, the other car can head to the mayor's office. How do we know the vamps won't just chase both cars? Aileen asks. Madeline shrugs. We don't. But we gotta do something, right? Yeah, Maddie's right, Bella agrees. Okay. That means I gotta hotwire 2 cars. Perspective, Madeline Donnerly. Cousin Aileen's climbing in this beat-up station wagon Belle's got started. Now she's given me this pouty look. I know you're a gamer, Maddie, but I doubt even you can drive a real car. I'm studying the controls and know what I gotta do. Obviously, you ain't never seen me drive. Ariel approaches the car. She's right, Aileen. Carter and I have been there. Mouse drives very well. My friend Bailey was telling me back in December about going to the orphanage in Pendleton. Mouse drove everybody there and back like she had a license. Aileen's upset and points at her. Stop calling Maddie Mouse. I glance over at Aileen. It's okay, I don't mind, really. She's still mad. No, it's not, Maddie. Don't you understand people are making fun of you? They called me Mouse for years, knowing how much I hated it. I shrug. Again, Aileen, it's okay. Nothing can hurt you if you use it as a strength. I know I'm little, and I squeak when I'm talking. It ain't keeping me from doing what I like, Ariel tells Aileen. She has a sign on her bedroom door that says, Welcome to the mouse hole. I nod quickly. Yeah, now I'm going to go play mouse again when I drive to Mayor Gunter's office and go sneaking around. Aileen points at me. Not without me, you're not. I'm coming with you too, Mouse, Ariel says. Just then, Bells comes to the car. Again, you sure you can drive, Maddie? I mean, don't you want either me or Felicia with you? I pat my jacket. I got my compact if I need Mary Worth. Trust me, Bells. I got this. Now Bells is folding her arms in front of her. Yeah? Show me. I start the car. Aileen's sitting next to me. Ariel's getting in back. Then I shift and drive around the inside of the building for a little bit. Soon I'm stopping right in front of Bells, who's given us this weird look. You twins are both gonna drive me crazy, she sighs. Okay, Maddie, you're it then. You 3 are going to the mayor's office. Felicia, Carter, and me are gonna provide a distraction. At least Go-Go Juice ain't gonna be no problem this time. Felicia, Carter, Ariel, and me went and siphoned plenty for both cars. Yuck. Why can't Go-Go Juice taste like cheese or coffee? Felicia quickly appears. She's human again. Guess she found sweatpants when she was out. Okay, we're ready at our end when you are. Too bad our phones don't work here, Ariel mutters. It would be nice if we could communicate with each other somehow. Felicia quickly raises her finger. Yeah, about that. She goes away for a moment, then comes back. Here, take this. Where did you find walkie-talkies? Aileen asks her. In what was left of that radio depot in downtown Village, next to what was left of Bobbletopia, Felicia answers. Bella and I tested them. The batteries and the walkies are good. I take the walkie-talkie and hand it to Aileen. Then Felicia sees Carter approaching. I see you also found stuff. Carter swings his baseball bat. Found this out in the street. Now Bells is handing us vampire survival kits. I'm surprised there was still some holy water and wafers left in this Strickfield wasteland. I had to get these from a church a few miles out. And you didn't burn? Felicia asks. I don't have traditional vampire weaknesses, Bells returns. Now I see Carter and Ariel looking at each other. Really looking at each other. Then Ariel reaches out through her door and puts her hand on Carter's shoulder. We're going to be okay. Carter nods quickly. Yeah. And then he surprises everybody when he leans in and, wow, it ain't no long one, but I'm thinking they're scared we ain't making it back home. Ariel gives Carter a nice smile. You come back to me. I mean it. Carter gives her a look that tells her he's planning on it. Bells holds up the other walkie-talkie. When Felicia, Carter, and me get far away, we'll let you know what's going on. Use your best judgment, Maddie. I nod quickly. We'll be okay, Bells. Once we're in our cars, Bells drives out. Stand by, Bells says on our walkie-talkie. Perspective, Aileen Donnerly. Maddie takes off as soon as she gets the okay from Bells. I can't believe this. Maddie's only 13 and in the 7th grade, and she's driving a car, like she's always been able to. I can't even drive a car. Not that I couldn't have learned. I'm okay for the moment thanks to the treatments Bells has been giving me for my sickness. So far, those pills she made for me around Thanksgiving are still working great. I'm looking at my arm. It was already fully healed up when Mary Worth looked at it. Why do I have a very, very bad feeling about this? You never cease to amaze me, Mouse, Ariel tells her. Maddie shrugs. Yeah, I try. What about you? You okay back there? I really didn't know Carter was going to do that, she says shakingly. It's okay, Ariel. Just give me an invite to your wedding after we graduate high school, Maddie teases. Ariel growls when Maddie snickers. Oh, you! I quickly turn around and point sharply at her. Don't you dare scream, Ariel. Any nearby vamps will hear you and come our way. Ariel nods quickly. Sorry. Then she mutters, I hate you, Mouse. When I look at Maddie, she's still not even fazed by Ariel. Then Maddie says to me, Ariel's been saying that to me since we was little kids. Believe me, I'm quite used to it by now. How can you be so calm about everything, Maddie? I ask. You know, I really envy you. Maddie shrugs. I just don't let things bother me. I mean, I got a good life. I got great friends. I got great parents. Life's good. Ariel springs forward. You say life is good, and we're stuck here in a vampire universe. I hate you, Mouse. Maddie raises her finger. Careful, Ariel. I might crash the car. Ariel shakes her finger. Oh, you just wait till we're back home. We keep moving until Maddie stashes the car. Then we get out and move to Mayor Patrick Gunter's office. Now it's my turn to show I've got a few surprises of my own. First off, I pick the lock to get inside one of the side doors. Bells has really been teaching me things since we started getting more into our friendship. I suppose I shouldn't envy Maddie so much. Bells is my one real friend, even though we're hanging out with Felicia Mirren more these days. More and more us cheerleaders are kind of becoming a circle of friends. I don't think I'd still be here today if it wasn't for Bells. When I got my sickness, I was told I didn't have long to live. I've always had a weak immune system. Even the common cold could lay me up and make me miss school for a good week. In fact, I missed so much school due to being sick that I'm repeating my senior year. Even then, Maddie often came by to see me. I'm still feeling that sense of insecurity, I guess. I guess I just don't want to be alone in the world. I've come to love having Bells and Maddie in my life. I guess I just don't want us to ever drift apart. That's not an unreasonable thing to ask, is it? Before long, we find Mayor Gunter's office and go inside. I already gave night vision glasses to Maddie and Ariel. Now we're snooping around. I see maps around the office and look at them. Now, I don't have a photographic memory, but I do know Strickfield well enough to know when things look way off. You find something, Aileen? Ariel asks. I think so, I reply. Take a good look at these maps. See anything odd? Yeah, right here. Ariel points to it. Since when do we have a nuclear power plant? Maddie finishes for her. I ain't no high school senior like you, Aileen, but I'm already thinking things. Ariel gulps. Do I even want to know? If there's a nuclear power plant in this Strickfield, it's probably tied to how those vamps are powering their portals to our universe, I translate. That's what you came up with, right, Maddie? She gulps herself and nods quickly. Uh-huh. Then I pull out my smartphone. We can't call or send texts, but our cameras are still good. Maddie's got our walkie-talkie and lets the other group know what's going on. Felicia's talking to us. The vampires are still chasing them. Then we hear Bells say they're going to make themselves scarce and then make their way over to us. After I finish taking pics, we look around Mayor Gunter's office some more, but we don't really find anything worth holding on to. Suddenly, the lights come on. Next thing we know, the door to the mayor's office comes flying away. Now, Mayor Patrick Gunter himself is looking right at us. Did you really think I wouldn't know if someone was breaking into my office? He growls. The three of us hold up our crucifixes and drive him back with our faith in them. It's not long before he glares at them and causes them to burst into flames. We quickly drop our crosses and get out of the office. We're quick to find out Mayor Gunter's not alone. He's got lots of vampires under his command. The three of us are running for all we're worth. We know we can't run long, especially not when vampires can warp. We quickly manage to get back outside. That's when we see the other car coming. Help's arrived, and just in time. Perspective, Bella Tabon. As soon as I brake to a stop, Aini, Maddie, and Ariel are running to our car. Vamps jump out through the broken out windows and land on us. It don't take them long to start ripping the car apart. The same as what happened to Felicia's SUV. Felicia and I get out and start beating those vamps back. I can't believe how well the cheerleading captain herself is holding her own. Then Aini joins in the fight and is using these new toys she's whipped up. She's got sun lamps attached to her wrists and is using them to drive the vamps back. I can't stand Aini's older brother Martin, but I do agree with him when he calls her Einstein on account of her gifted intelligence. That's how I came to call her Aini for short. She gives it back to me by calling me Bells. Since I really like her cousin Maddie, I let her get away with calling me Bells too. Maddie reaches us and pulls out her compact. Yeah, I'd say it's time for Mary Worth to lend a hand. But suddenly Aini's toys overload and stop working. Maddie's compact also catches fire. Then we see Mayor Gunter did all this with his cheap parlor tricks. Now he orders the other vampires to take us. This scene is really not looking all that good for the six of us. As a master vampire, I have tremendous power. I can hold off a bunch of these regular vamps all by myself. But there are just so many of them. Even if Felicia were to morph back into her spider form, they'd still overpower all of us. And they do. We're eventually taken down and loaded into an armored car and taken away. I'm surprised they didn't just kill all of us. It ain't long before we're inside some strange place. I mean, I know I've never seen it before, even back home. We're all placed into these cages. As soon as we're locked up, these energies appear around our cells. I wouldn't touch the bars if I were you, Mayor Gunter warns us. There's enough of this special voltage to overwhelm even you, I'm sure. Yeah, he directed that last part at me. Now Mayor Gunter points to Ariel and Maddie. I'm sure you two are wondering what became of Harmony Mirren. I haven't forgotten how she helped you to escape me the last time we encountered you. He chuckles coldly. I'm not sorry to say. She didn't survive. My legions overwhelmed her the same as they did you. The only difference is that I wanted all of you alive. Harmony Mirren is quite departed from this world and will never trouble us again. Why are we so important to you? Felicia demands. Why not just kill us too? In good time, my dear, Mayor Gunter chuckles. But now, I believe that a little story time is in order. I'm sure all of you would love to have some answers, such as how our world came to be the way it is, and why we're having to explore other universes for food. Well, I'm going to tell you. But I should warn you right now, it is not a pleasant story. The present. Mayor Patrick Gunter regarded his prisoners as the energies of the cells kept them in a weakened state. Ariel Mirren walked to the bars and tightened her fists. Why? Why would you turn your world into this horrible nightmare? Mayor Gunter chuckled. Oh, I didn't do this alone. You see, there was someone else just as hungry for power as I was. Someone who wanted power so badly that said person approached me. After hearing what my new partner had to say, he shook his head. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. No, it's best that I start from the beginning. 10 years ago, Patrick Gunter was furious when he saw that he was behind in the polls again. He couldn't believe the people of Strickfield favored the current mayor, Harmony Mirren, so greatly. Gunter had his own voters behind him, but not nearly enough of what the current mayor had. And the village election was coming up very soon. Gunter growled and slammed his fists on his table. He knew he would never be able to sway enough voters in his direction. It was bad enough that there were so many Mirrens in both houses of Congress. There was even talk about a few of the Mirrens possibly making bids for the White House. There were also 3 Mirrens on the Supreme Court. He knew many of those Mirrens serving at the federal level were dirty. Not Harmony Mirren. This Mirren not only became the youngest mayor in Strickfield at the tender age of 21, she had also kept her campaign promises of not raising taxes and putting current tax monies toward programs that would benefit the people greatly. Harmony Mirren was truly a good mayor to her village. Gunter had tried many things to turn people against her. When it seemed he had found dirt on her and brought it to light in their debates, Harmony was easily able to explain his accusations. In effect, Gunter really had nothing concrete against Harmony. Now it was looking as though Harmony would win a second term by a landslide. "How do I beat you, little girl?" Gunter hissed. "How?" "Perhaps I can help," someone called out. He quickly turned around and couldn't believe his eyes. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. "And how are you able to get by my men?" The person chuckled. "Believe me, I have my ways of doing things. I assure you, it's just the 2 of us in here. Now, I believe you said you'd like to win the election, and become the new mayor of Strickfield. The person chuckled again. You're so petty. Why settle for just Strickfield? What if I could give you this whole world? Gunter couldn't believe what he was hearing. Why should I believe someone like you? The person sighed. Very well. I'll give you a demonstration of the kind of power I'm willing to share with you. What if I could give you the election and the mayor's house? What if you won by a landslide? I could make that happen for you, Mr. Gunter. He became very angry now. I don't have time for your games. Don't you understand? I'm way behind in the polls. I'll never beat Harmony Mirren in this election next week. The person smiled. Then I'll have to give you something right now. What shall I give you to prove the kind of power that I have? Think about it very carefully. Gunter decided to call the person's bluff. Okay, if you can get me the election over Harmony Mirren and by a landslide, then I'll listen to anything you have to say. He shook his head quickly. Personally, I just don't see someone like you making that happen. The person laughed with amusement. Next Tuesday is the election. If that's the proof you want of the power I have, then be ready to move into the mayor's office in January, Mr. Gunter. Gunter laughed scornfully. There was no way this person was going to be able to get him the election and the mayorship of Strickfield. Harmony Mirren had way too much popularity and would win with the vast majority of votes. When Gunter again went to look at the person who had appeared before him and wasted his time, he gasped upon seeing he was all alone once more. He looked around to see if he could find the person, but there were no traces. He sighed and knew he would just have to wait and see. Patrick Gunter still couldn't believe his eyes when he saw the front page of the Strickfield Source. He hadn't even bothered to stay up and see the results of the village election, knowing full well that he would lose. But he hadn't. The front page of the morning paper had, in huge bold letters, Gunter wins. When he looked at his answering machine, there was only one message. Harmony Mirren had called to concede and congratulate him on winning the election. Then she demanded to know how he had done it, saying that there was no way in the world that he could have won. He didn't have the popularity or the potential votes. Every day since then, the mayor-elect had waited to see if that mysterious person would appear before him again. It was only when the December of the following year came and Mayor Gunter was entering his office that he finally saw his mysterious friend again, who was now sitting behind his desk. Mayor Gunter pointed at the mysterious person. How did you make my winning the election happen? The person chuckled. Didn't I tell you that you would win? And now you are the mayor of Strickfield. The person smirked. Also, didn't I ask you, why settle for just Strickfield? Mayor Gunter raised his hands in front of him. Yeah, I remember. You said you could give me this entire planet. He looked skeptical again. How will you go about doing that? Do you have any idea how big this world is? I don't think there's any election you could rig up that can make me dictator of the whole world. The figure raised a finger. That would remain to be seen, but that's not what I was thinking as far as how you would have this world. Mayor Gunter raised an eyebrow. I'd like to sit in my chair if you don't mind. The figure looked serious now. Actually, I do mind, Mr. Gunter. You and I need to come to an arrangement regarding our partnership. You want ultimate power, I want ultimate power. This world is ours for the taking. I can lead you to that very power. I can give you everything you want and never knew you wanted. All you have to do is agree to be my partner." The figure held out a hand for Mayor Gunter to shake. Upon shaking the figure's hand to seal the deal, the figure smirked. "Now, you and I are truly partners, Mayor Gunter. In case you're thinking of trying to double-cross me in any way, all I have to do is just snap my fingers, and all will be as it was. In other words, you'll be right back to the day I found you. You'll easily lose the mayoral election to Harmony Mirren, and our deal will be all for naught." Mayor Gunter groaned. "You've thought of everything, haven't you?" "I wouldn't be worthy of my family's name if I didn't. Now would I?" The figure replied. "Now, do you want ultimate power or not?" "Since you said we're partners now, then you should know my answer," Mayor Gunter returned. The figure smiled, a sinister smile. "I knew you'd see things my way." Suddenly, the figure revealed a large tome and dropped it right on the desk. Mayor Gunter couldn't believe it. "Behold, Mr. Mayor, within these pages are powerful spells that can allow you to have your heart's desire to go along with your mayorship," the figure said. "But there's one page within this ancient book that will grant us, this entire world. The real question is, are you willing to take those next steps with me in order for us to claim that power? We have only to take a little walk to a specific house here in Strickfield. Unless, of course, you're afraid of ghosts and haunted houses." One week later, it was a dark and snowy night. Mayor Gunter and his partner walked down a few desolate streets. Only a select few houses in this vicinity had any Christmas decorations up or lit. Before long, they were turning down Pleasant Valley Road. Soon Mayor Gunter stopped, dead in his tracks. "You really aren't thinking of us going into that house, are you?" he demanded. "Oh, that's exactly what I'm thinking, Mr. Mayor," his partner said. "The ultimate power we are to obtain is in that very house. Now don't tell me you're going to chicken out. Remember, we both have just as much to gain here." Mayor Gunter pointed to the old mansion. "But this is the Carnavash estate. You yourself had to have lived in Strickfield long enough to know this is the one house in our village that you walk on the other side of the street to avoid." His partner again emphasized ultimate power and seizing the world. "I promised you that you would be mayor, didn't I? Why would I lie to you now?" He considered his partner. "Okay, you have a point, but why promise me unlimited power? You could have seized it all for yourself." "Yes, you're right," his partner agreed. "But what fun would that be? It's fun to have a partner in crime to share all this with. And think about this. I handed you a major victory over a Mirren when you won the election. Imagine what you could really do to the Mirrens when we get ultimate power for ourselves." Mayor Gunter nodded slowly. "Again, you have a point. I do love seeing the Mirrens fail. And with my help, you will, again," his partner promised. "But we must go into the Carnavash estate. There's no other way." Maybe it was against his better judgment. Maybe it was the promise of ultimate power. They continued down Pleasant Valley Road until they were standing outside the front gate of the Carnavash estate. Before he realized it, he was already on the other side of the high, vine-covered fence that surrounded the ancient house. Mayor Gunter felt his heart pounding when the back door squeaked open. He was surprised at how quickly his partner went inside. After closing the door, Mayor Gunter followed his partner. Soon they entered a library. Every shelf was filled to capacity with ancient, leather-bound books. "We'll have to look around very carefully in here," the partner said. There's a secret passage in here somewhere." "How do you know?" the mayor demanded. "Didn't you read the tome I gave you?" "Obviously not, or you would have read the information I already know. There's a secret entrance here in the library somewhere. Once we open it, we head down into the chamber. Then we go from there." It had taken them several months, but Mayor Gunter had finally found the one book that would not come loose from the shelf. After pulling back on it, they heard a loud noise. Mayor Gunter pulled open the shelf to reveal the hidden stairway. Using flashlights, they descended the stairway until they were in a ceremonial chamber with a large altar in the center. "No, it's not here," the partner said. "The passage I read said one must be willing to descend to the furthest depths to reach ultimate power." Mayor Gunter snapped his fingers. "Perhaps there's another secret entrance, located in this secret room." "Exactly what I was thinking, Mr. Mayor. But where exactly?" It had taken them several more minutes, but the partner had finally discovered a switch that caused the altar to move and reveal yet another hidden stairway leading further below the Carnavash estate. Before Mayor Gunter could say he wanted to turn back, his partner had quickly entered this newly revealed passageway. Mayor Gunter continued to feel conflicted as he followed his partner down, further and further. Soon they were in what appeared to be a crypt, this one looking like it had possibly been built during the Dark Ages. "It's here!" his partner exclaimed, pointing at a chest that had several chains binding it and a bright blue energy field surrounding it. She turned off her flashlight. "What is it?" Mayor Gunter gasped, turning off his. "The ultimate power," his partner gasped equally. "All we have to do is open it, and this whole world belongs to us." "How'll we get through that field?" Then Gunter remembered. "No! I remember the words!" He glanced at his partner. "For your information, I did read the book, from cover to cover, several times. I just wasn't sure this was real." "You know the Mirren magics work," the partner said. "Why wouldn't they work now? All we have to do is recite the counterspell to remove the barrier and unshackle the locks. From there is absolutely nothing to keep us from opening the chest and seizing the ultimate power for ourselves." Mayor Gunter decided to voice his concerns. "The passages said that the very essence of Dracula himself is within that chest. It was written that he existed for thousands of years, which is how and why he became the oldest and most powerful master vampire ever known. He was finally brought down by a few select ancient Mirrens who had turned aside from evil and perfected powerful white magics to finally stop Dracula and free the world from his terrible power. His essence has been contained inside this chest all this time." He took a deep breath. "You have heard the story of Pandora's box, haven't you? If not, I'll gladly inform you." "I've read Greek mythology," his partner snapped. "I know the story of Pandora's box, but this box will give us ultimate power. Once we free Dracula's essence, this world will be ours." "What makes you so sure Dracula won't just turn on us?" Gunter inquired. "As long as we both know the original spell, he can be returned to his prison at any time," the partner reminded him. "I'm sure that once Dracula is free, he'll be more than willing to share his power with us. Go ahead and leave if you want. I won't force you to stay with me any longer." Consumed by his lust for more power, Mayor Gunter began reciting the ancient words that the darker Mirrens of ancient times had written. He wondered why they themselves never undid the spell their traitorous relatives placed on the chest. He continued to recite the spell. Suddenly, winds filled the chamber and the torchlights became fully lit. The mystic barrier surrounding the chest flickered before it was finally gone. When Mayor Gunter finished with the incantation, the chains unlocked and fell to the floor. There was absolutely nothing to keep them from opening the forbidden chest now. Before Mayor Gunter could think of what to do next, his partner was already at the chest. Just seeing the evil radiating from his partner's smile and eyes made him wish that he hadn't done what he did. However, it was much too late to undo anything. Now, my revenge against the Mirrans is complete, the partner yelled in accomplishment. As soon as the chest was opened just the slightest, a neon purple light erupted from it. The partner opened the chest all the way and laughed as the light filled the entire chamber. Soon powerful beams of light shot into both Mayor Gunter and his partner. They felt themselves being infused with such incredible power. For several minutes, they remained still. When the power stopped feeding into them, they knew they were fully transformed. Mayor Gunter saw his partner's new vampiric face and knew his own was the same way. In fact, he could already feel the fangs growing within his own mouth. The power escaped upward through the two passageways and out the Carnavash estate. The power continued its ascent into the winter storm. Mayor Gunter and his partner reached the outside and saw how evil the sky had become, no matter how far they looked. "What have we done?" Mayor Gunter groaned, not sure that he really wanted to hear the answer. But he didn't have much time to ponder further as he felt an incredible thirst and knew there was only one thing that could satisfy it. Human blood. Suddenly, Mayor Gunter and his partner transformed into giant bats and flew in search of their first victims. It had taken them only short minutes to find suitable nourishment. The first people they encountered had already been transformed into vampires, like themselves. Mayor Gunter wondered why not everyone had been transformed. Just the same, he was glad to be able to slake his thirst. It was only a matter of a few short days before Christmas that the entire planet had become enfolded in the eternity of night. The sun would never brighten the skies of Earth again. Now both Mayor Gunter and his partner found themselves on borrowed time, after consuming their recent humans that they were just barely able to find. He looked at his partner. "We're almost out of food," he said. "There are too many of us, and not enough mortals to sustain all of us. How are we supposed to have unlimited power and rule this world if we become too weak from thirst?" The partner turned to him. "You think I haven't already thought about that? Not only do we have the Mirran magics at our disposal, we also have technology. All we have to do is enact the next phase of my plan, and we can have all the delicious mortals we'll ever need or want." Mayor Gunter and his partner went back to his office. There, his partner explained how they would take over the Strickfield nuclear power plant, using the Mirran magics in combination with blueprints stolen from a few Mirran technology branches. They could add the power of nuclear energy to fuel their plan. At the same time, they would tap power grids around the world and shut them all down permanently. Only their nuclear plant would make power. While Mayor Gunter and his partner worked to construct their new prototype portal device at the Strickfield nuclear power plant, they managed to find some more humans to be able to sustain them until their work was completed. Apparently, the mortals that hadn't been turned had banded together to form resistance groups. The two of them had to be careful not to be caught off guard and be finished off by these groups. However, they were powerful enough to where they were able to secure some of them as their food source. When everything was ready, Mayor Gunter threw the switch and opened their first portal. Mayor Gunter ordered some vampires to enter and bring back mortals. The experiment proved to be most successful. Mayor Gunter and his partner were able to feed the vampire legions that obeyed them. Then Mayor Gunter's partner found other ideas in another Mirren tome on how to bring mortals to their universe. From there, more methods were used to open portals from their universe to others. Use of physical mediums such as movies on film, compact disc formats, flash drives, and many others were used to be able to open portals. All that would need to be done would be to send these lethal mediums to other universes and wait. But these plans were not without resistance. The former mayor of Strickfield, Harmony Mirren, would make a last stand against Mayor Gunter. Harmony was the leader of a human resistance group that was determined to destroy the power plant. The group had made a valiant effort, but the vampires were far too powerful for them. Before the remainder of them could retreat, Mayor Gunter had seized Harmony and infected her with but a single bite. By the time Harmony had retreated to the Strickfield Town Center Mall, her mall, she had become one of the undead herself and would turn on those who were her allies for food. With Harmony Mirren no longer a threat, Mayor Gunter and his partner were free to do whatever they wanted. His partners had kept the promise of unlimited power and control of Earth, after all. The present. Mayor Gunter turned to his prisoners. Now you understand how we came to conquer our world and bring it into everlasting darkness. Now you understand how we can do the same to so many other Earths in so many other universes. The possibilities are endless. You people are truly monsters, Ariel Mirren yelled. We won't let you get away with this. Mayor Gunter laughed. And who will stop me, little girl? You? Your friends? The cells you've been placed in continue to sap your strength. Soon you six will be nothing more than easy nourishment. Mayor Gunter produced a walkie-talkie of his own. Then he spoke into it. Are the enhancements to the reactor finished? Ready, the voice of his partner on the other end replied. Mayor Gunter smiled with glee. Then reactivate the reactor, so that we may bring more mortals into our world, that we may have a more plentiful harvest. He looked to his prisoners. In case you haven't guessed yet, you're in the Strickfield nuclear power plant. When the prisoners heard the reactor coming to life, Ariel tightened her fists and shook her head quickly. No! She shook her head faster. No! Now she could feel the intense anger growing within her. No! Ariel shook as she suddenly felt an incredible surge throughout her body. The next thing she knew, she was forming green and red fire in her fists. Also, her eyes and hair began to glow with bright light. Perspective, Ariel Mirren. What is this? What's happening to me? These energy dampeners were able to siphon the strength from the others, but I've been feeling fine since I was thrown in here. Ariel? Carter Cross stammers. What's happening to you? I don't know, I gasped, just as confused as him. Then I remember these red and green colors being associated with Queen Arcadia from when she possessed me around Christmas. I don't think about it and easily blast the bars right off my cell, wrecking its dampeners. Mouse and Aileen come to Carter and work together to help him up. "Stop!" Mayor Gunter yells, pointing at me. I run out of my cell and use my new powers to free Bella Tabon and Cousin Felicia. Even though Bella's still weakened from the dampening field, she springs out of her cell and floors Mayor Gunter with a tremendous punch. Felicia also springs out of the cell. "Come on, we gotta stop that reactor." "Aw, man," Mouse mutters. "If only I had a mirror." "We'll use our bare hands, Maddie," Aileen tells her. "Yeah, I'm itching to kick some butt." We all head to the main control room and find even more vampires. I also see someone working the main panel. I can't see who it is, but this person looks smaller than these other vampires. The person sees us coming and transforms into that giant bat that tried to take me earlier. The twin mice and Carter are grabbing stuff to use as weapons. As a vampire grabs Aileen, she quickly lays into him. I mean, she's going all kung pao and showing she can fight. She's also showing she's got strength now. Mouse and Carter are swinging at anything that comes their way. "If you've got powers, Ariel, use them," Bella yells. I'm feeling angry again, and I use my new powers to attack these bloodsuckers. As soon as Felicia walks by in her big spider form, I shriek. Okay, Felicia's on our side, but she's still scary. "I'm going for the reactor," Felicia says. "How about some backup, Ariel?" I don't know, I groan. "Like Bella said, use your powers, cousin. Your world needs you." Okay, I'm not so scared of Felicia anymore. "You're right. Let's go." Felicia lowers herself a little. "Hop on." I get on her back and cut loose on the vampires. Felicia moves fast with her lower 8 legs. How long have I had powers for anyway? I'll have to figure that out later. Perspective, Felicia Mirren. Ariel ain't doing bad at keeping those vamps off me. When I'm close to the main control panel, that giant bat that keeps being a pest is coming right at us. Ariel fires at it, but it dodges her. "Focus, Ariel," I tell her. "Don't fire blindly." "I'm trying, but that bat's really fast," she protests. As other vampires are coming at us, I knock them away. I spin webs on 2 of them and yank them together hard to daze them. I spring forward and make it to the main control panel. Then I hear that bat screeching and turn to face it. "I'll blast that panel," Ariel says. "No," I quickly tell her. "That might cause a meltdown." Ariel gulps. "Whoa, I never thought about that." "Try and find an off switch or something," I say. "Do something that won't get us killed and that can close these portals that are opening up." Ariel gets off me and sees all the flashing buttons and dials. "Yeah, this'll be about as easy as beating Mouse in a video game," she mutters. Using my 4 eyes, I see Maddie and Carter each have clubs and are keeping vampires at bay. Aileen continues showing she can fight. How did she get so strong? Then I remember she was bitten by a vampire here. If I gotta take an educated guess on where Aileen learned her moves, Bella must have taught her. Speaking of Bella, she's still fighting Mayor Gunter. As that giant bat's about to attack me with its claws, Ariel finally zaps it. I snare it and slam it to the floor. Next, I grab its talons and pinch them with my fingernail spikes. Soon, the bat starts slowing down, showing my venom works on these things. Suddenly, the bat shrieks and lunges drowsily to escape. I pull it back with my web, making it drop on the reactor controls and fall to the floor. Some buttons were pressed, but the portals are still open. Of course, it ain't the reactor making the portals, just powering the machine that does. And then I locate it. "Ariel, hit that machine," I tell her, pointing right at it. Ariel zaps it and overloads it. Now, the portals are suddenly gone. Unfortunately, we ain't gonna win this fight either. More and more vamps keep coming. Bella flings Mayor Gunter away from her and yells, "We gotta get out of here!" "You heard Bella, Ariel," I say. "We stay here, we'll be overwhelmed again. Hop on! When Ariel's on my back again, I leap away from the main panel. Bella grabs Maddie and Carter. I let Aileen get on my back also. I carry her and Ariel easily as we make our escape. There ain't gonna be too many of those vampires coming after us. They got more important things to worry about, like fixing that machine. We won this battle, but we're far from winning the war. Hang in there, comic book nerds and horror fanatics. We're gonna win the day yet. Perspective, Bella Tabon. We lose those other vamps by ducking out of sight. Good thing they're the run-of-the-mill kind. If they were like me, we'd be in big trouble. At least we can recoup and talk things out. Okay, we damaged that machine, Carter Cross says. You just know they're already working on it. Who knows how long it'll be before they get it up and running again? Yeah, Carter's right, Maddie agrees. We gotta figure out a plan. We gotta keep the vamps from getting that machine working again. I put my hand on Maddie's shoulder. You got your heart in the right place, but it's just the 6 of us against Gunter and his army. Whatever we come up with, we gotta make it count. Face it, this is suicide, Aini mutters. We're looking at the real possibility of never going back home again this time. Even if we do succeed in wrecking Gunter's machine for good. Ariel points to me. You guys saw how Bella was knocking Gunter on his butt. I look right at her now. Don't overestimate me, okay? Yes, I'm a powerful master vampire, but even I can't take on Gunter and all his armies. At least, not for the long haul. Then Carter looks at Ariel. Since when did you get powers, princess? How long have you known? Ariel looks at Carter like he just cut her. What are you saying, huh? You saying I'm keeping secrets too? For your information, I just discovered my powers. Those are Queen Arcadia's powers, Maddie says. I ain't forgot what she did back in December. Ariel turns to Maddie. I'm not Queen Arcadia. I'm me, Mouse. She holds out her little fingers. Maddie hugs her own little finger with Ariel's. Then Ariel says, Pinky promise. Okay, Ariel. You ain't Queen Arcadia, but you do got her powers. Maddie stresses. Carter groans. Am I the only one who feels useless around here? All you guys got powers. I ain't got nothing. You got spirit and guts, kid, Felicia tells him. Don't forget, you're still alive. But how much longer will we be alive, Felicia? Aini yells. You see how many of those blood-sucking freaks we have to deal with out there? Felicia folds her human arms in front of her. And what about you? You got bitten by a vampire here. You seem to be showing some new powers yourself. I move up next to Aini. Leave her alone, Felicia. But Aini doesn't back down. No. You got something to say, Felicia? Huh? You saying I'm one of those vampires now? Felicia doesn't back down either and squints all 4 of her eyes. What if you are? Then Maddie touches across to Aini. Nope. She ain't burning, Arachne. Felicia gives Maddie a weird look. Arachne? That's Greek mythology. Yuppers, Maddie agrees. Aini gives her cousin a mean look, but that's it. Had to be sure, Maddie says. Felicia speaks up. I get it's just us 6 against a whole vampire army. She's looking at all of us now. I even get that some of us are scared. I know I am, she sighs. Do any of you even understand our situation here? Do you? I point at her. You haven't been in the game as long as Aini, Maddie, and me have. Felicia comes to me. Maybe I have and maybe I haven't, Bella, but I don't have my spider powers to look pretty. I'm really trying to make a difference here. She points in the direction of the nuclear power plant. When that machine's back up and running again, those vampires are gonna be harvesting food again, and they ain't gonna care from where. We can't fail. She tightens her fists. Don't you people understand? There is nobody else. It's just us. If you all want to just sit here, then I'll go alone. Maybe those vampires will get me, but you better believe I ain't gonna make it easy for them. It's either I take out that portal machine once and for all, or I go down knowing I gave it my best shot. She steps back a little now. And that's exactly what the 6 of us are here. We're the last shot before the buzzer. I look at everybody now. The new girl's right. We are the last hurrah here. I point at Felicia. I never said I wasn't seeing this through. I'm a Tabon. Of course I'm seeing this through. Suddenly, Maddie gasps. Why didn't I remember this before? I do have another mirror. Aileen and I both got 'em. She removes her glasses. I need some light. I got you, Mouse, Ariel offers. She approaches Maddie, holds her hand under the glass, and concentrates. At first, nothing happens. Don't doubt yourself, I tell her. It's your power. You alone command it. Remember, you are Ariel Mirren, the queen bee of Strickfield Junior High. When you put it that way, Ariel's hand's glowing now. Then Maddie fires away. Merryworth! 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 The energies come out of Maddie's glasses and go right into her. In seconds, Maddie becomes possessed by the spirit of the White Witch herself. I was hoping that you would eventually remember that idea from last Halloween, Madeline, Merryworth says. Mary utters an incantation and casts an aura around us. Soon it's gone. I noticed that some of you had injuries, she explains. I have healed those of you that needed it. I sigh. Okay. We're all at 100%. I say we launch a final all-out assault on the Strickfield nuclear power plant. I ain't just talking about destroying that portal machine once and for all. I'm talking about blowing the whole plant too, so they can't power another one. Aside from Mary, the others look at me with utter shock. Perspective, Carter Cross. It sure got cold in here fast after Bella said what she said. Look, I've seen enough science fiction movies with Madeline and Princess here to know what you're suggesting is both suicide and cruel, Bella. I say. There might still be innocent people out there. We can't just mushroom cloud vampire Strickfield and not think about them. Bella smiles a little. You never let me finish explaining my plan. I'm not a cruel person, Carter. What do you have in mind, Bells? Aileen asks. Bella looks at Merryworth now. I can't believe this is Madeline, or at least the ghost is possessing her. Can you whip up some kind of spell that can move any mortals out of the potential blast range? Difficult, but not impossible, Mary tells her. The spell that I require will take a great deal of time and power to perform. I do believe that it can be done, though. The 6 of us talk our plan through until we finally agree. Then I know how I can be useful and ask the ghost. Listen, can you make my mongoose appear here? Now the ghost just looks at me weirdly. Then she finally seems to understand. Of course, Madeline. Can they talk to each other somehow? Mary utters some strange words. When she's finished, my bike appears right next to me. I quickly hop on my mongoose. If I'm going to help out, I want to do something I know I'm good at. Madeline and I won bike competitions back home. That's got to mean something here. Felicia smiles. Like I said, spirit and guts, kid. Then the ghost holds up Madeline's fried compact and instantly fixes it. After that, she goes back into the mirror. Madeline's back now. Bella points at her. You need to turn back into Mary. And I will soon, Madeline says. Then she turns to Aileen. Want to ride shotgun with me again? Ariel folds her arms in front of her. You just love driving, don't you, Mouse? She smirks a little and waves Ariel off. Nah. Aileen says to the others. Guess Maddie and I are the distraction this time. Bella puts her hands on Madeline's shoulders. I'll get another car hotwired. You just drive like you're in competition. You understand? Madeline nods quickly. Then I gently smack her shoulder. How about a lift inside? Once we're in, I can show these vamps some real riding. Now Ariel and me are looking at each other. I really want to be mad at her, but I just can't. I don't know what I'm feeling for her, what we're feeling for each other, but I feel deep down what we're feeling. I don't know. It just feels real. That's the best way I can say it. We're going back home, Carter, Ariel tells me. We're going to win. We have to. I nod quickly. You're right, Princess. You, want to go out with me again when we get back home? Ariel smiles a little. That's worth returning home for. Then she looks at Madeline. You're coming home too. I don't want to have to explain to my parents what happened to you. I getcha, Madeline tells her. Aileen raises her forearms. Glad Mary fixed my solar lamp gauntlets. These should help keep the vampires off of us, Maddie. Madeline gently slaps her cousin's arm. Sweet. Hold it, Felicia calls out. Come here, all of you. We all come together. Then it just happens. We all go into a group hug. Good luck, everybody, Felicia says. This one's for home. Remember, we gotta get this right the first time, Bella says. We ain't gonna get no do-overs. I'll promise you that right now. It ain't long before Bella has another car ready for Madeline. The twin cousins give each other weird looks. Bella gives them one of her own. Look, this Volkswagen Bug was all that was available. Take it or leave it. Maddie looks at the decal. Not a Volkswagen Beetle. It's really called a Bug. Interesting changes in these parallel universes. Then she looks at Bella. I guess we're taking it. Aileen quickly mounts my bike on the back of the car. Ariel and me getting back. Madeline hops in the driver's seat. Aileen rides shotgun. Hang on, Madeline squeaks. As soon as Bella opens the garage door, Madeline's squealing and peeling before we sputter right out and on to the street. Perspective, Madeline Donnerly. Who'd have thought I'd be driving cars at just 13 years old? Too bad I ain't allowed to get my license yet. At least I ain't gotta have one to drive in this vampire world. I still can't believe you can really drive, Maddie, Aileen says. Yeah, well, I can't believe you can fight and make all them cool toys, I tell her. We're almost to the nuclear power plant, Aileen's warning us. Don't you dare crash this little car, Mouse, Ariel says. I ain't crashed one yet, I say. There's plenty of go-go juice in here, too. I'm driving right up the hill and right to the main doors. I floor the gas and plow right through 'em. You just know that's gotta be an attention getter. Soon as them vamps are coming at the car, Aileen's turning on her sun lamps. Them vamps are howling and keeping away from the car when they get flashed. Remember, you're playing a video game, Madeline, Carter says. Yeah, it's called Twin Mousies and a Bug versus the Vampires, right? I crack. I hate you, Mouse, Ariel groans. I can't believe how calm you are through all this. I just can't believe how you never get scared. Well, I sure ain't telling Ariel this little mousie is big time scared. I'm getting ready to stop shortly, Carter, I tell him. I'm ready, he says. When I stop the car, Carter quickly gets out and grabs his mongoose off of the back. He jumps on it and starts riding. I'll cover you, Carter, Ariel says, getting out of the car too. Get moving, mice! Aileen growls and looks ready to get out of the car. What are you doing? I ask her. I'm sick of Ariel and her mouse references, she yells. I quickly hit the gas as she's opening the door. We ain't got no time for that, Aileen. She growls and tightens her fists and looks at me now. I can't believe you're so comfortable with people calling you Mouse. And don't even get me started about what Ariel said about that sign on your bedroom door. Really, Maddie? Welcome to the mouse hole? I shrug. It just don't bother me. I know I'm a thin, little, squeaky geek. I can't do nothing about that, right? So I make do with what I got. Like driving cars. I hit the brakes and take the car into a screeching turn. Then I floor the gas again. I smirk and glance at Aileen. Case in point. Come on, cousin. You're doing all right, too. Aileen scowls at me for a little bit. Then she finally softens up. Just don't wreck the car, Maddie. Nah, I reply. Better be using them sun lamps on your wrists. Aileen shrieks and starts shining them at vampires coming at us. I don't know about Aileen, but this little mousie's having way too much fun. I love being a geek, and I definitely can't wait till I can get my own mouse-mobile someday. Perspective, Ariel Mirren. Carter's keeping the vampires off him with his fancy bike riding. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous of him and Mouse. It makes me think of when I was chasing them on a moped back in early December. They had their mongooses and they still managed to use their fancy stunt riding to lose me. I give them both an awful lot of credit for being able to do that. At the same time, I can feel Carter's jealous of me because of my new powers. I can't believe I really have Queen Arcadia's abilities. I thought when I broke her will and her hold over me and got her out of my body that was it. I was supposed to be just plain Ariel Mirren again. Queen Arcadia herself is no longer a part of me, but she sure left me some things to remember her by. I'm getting the hang of these powers. I'm really having to throw my emotions into them to make them work. Then I see Cousin Felicia getting close to the main reactor controls. "Look out, Princess!" Carter calls out. "Behind you!" I turn around to see Mayor Gunter's almost on me. I shriek and fall on my tummy. When he flies right over me, I get back up and know I've got to get away from him. I need to get to Felicia and help her destroy those controls. I turn around and run to her. When Mayor Gunter yells at me, I turn enough to throw a green fireball at him. When it hits him, Bella gets the drop on him. And then I'm snatched up by that giant bat again and pulled up into the air. The bat is taking me out of the main reactor room and flying me through a hallway. Soon we come out into another wide open room. The bat takes me upward to a balcony. "Let's go!" I yell before I bring my hands up and flash Christmas-colored lights in its eyes. The bat drops me. I gasp when I'm falling. That's when I focus to brace myself for the impact. Then I feel myself stop and see I've now got these clear red discs under my feet. "I can fly?" I choke it barely above a whisper. I command the discs to bring me to the balcony where they finally set me down. They then disappear and I walk through a nearby door. I remember this place being dark, but I can see everything in red? Or maybe infrared? "Who's there?" a woman's voice calls out. I look to see the woman, and my tummy just drops. I flip on the lights, then I make my infrared go away. "Mom?" I groan. "What are you doing here?" Then I'm angry. "What do I even care?" Adrian Mirren gives me this weird look now. "Please, Ariel, I've said I'm sorry more times than I can say. What more do you want from me?" I raise my tightened fists. "You think you can just say you're sorry? You traded me to Queen Arcadia in exchange for power and riches before I was even born." I feel the fire flaring up in my hands. There's no forgiving that. Now Mom just looks at me strangely. I didn't know vampires could do that. I groan and shake my head with anger. "I'm not a vampire!" I scream. "No, but I am," another voice calls out from nearby. Now Mom and I are both looking pretty confused. The vampire has two other familiar people with her, but she's looking right at me. "Oh, the look on your face, Ariel Mirren," she cries with glee after revealing herself. Then I completely understand everything. I know who Mayor Gunter's mystery partner is now, the one who helped make this world into the vampire wasteland it's become. Mayor Gunter's mystery partner is... Perspective, Ariel Mirren. I'm looking at Adrian Mirren, my mom, Okay, I know she's not my real mom now because of the vampire I'm standing face to face with. I understand everything. The mystery partner who worked with Mayor Gunter to make this vampire Earth happen is... Come on, you had to know there was another you here, Ariel Mirren. My vampire double says. She has vampire doubles of my friends, Mona Abels and Bailey Downs, with her. I point to Vampire Ariel and shake my head slowly. Then I point to Other Mom. You did all this because... Vampire Ariel points at me. Don't you dare say you weren't angry and hurt when you learned your own mother betrayed you. She looks uncertain now. She did betray you, right? I nod. Yeah, but it wasn't worth all this. Vampire Ariel laughs and looks at Other Mom. You always told me to be an alpha. You always said to use the Mirren ways to my advantage. You said I needed to be ruthless. Well, how's this for ruthless? Not only did I conquer Earth, I even conquered the Mirrens, you included. Adrian looks at her. You were the worst mistake I ever made. Vampire Ariel, Mona, and Bailey howl with laughter. Then Vampire Ariel replies, But if you didn't have me, you wouldn't have become rich and powerful, right? Then you couldn't have burned me with your betrayal. She smiles, showing her sharp fangs. Then I couldn't have kept you here for you to see just how much I've bettered you, Mommy dearest. I look at Adrian now. Are you really that cruel and have no feelings? I can't believe how this all happened. It was exactly like last December. Vampire me and I were both possessed by Queen Arcadia. But the major difference between me and her is Mom. My own mom never really made time for me, which was why she never cared about my having sleepovers every Friday night with my girls. I address Adrian again. You rode your daughter constantly. You abused her emotionally. Nothing she ever did was good enough for you, was it? Your daughter probably tried and tried to please you. She just wanted you to love her and be her mom. Then she learned of your betrayal and knew you never loved her, making her snap and driving her to create this horror. She found Mayor Gunter and partnered with him. End result? Everything that's happened here. How am I doing, Vampire Me? She smiles. You're good, Other Me. She chuckles. Except you're not like me. You're not a vampire. But I can change that. One bite is all it takes. You can rule here with me. I shake my head. Mom's betrayal still hurts, but I'm not going to... This! Vampire Me sighs. That's just too bad. You will be one of us, one way or another. Girls, time for me to be the alpha. Weren't you paying attention, Vampire Me? I changed too. Before Vampire Mona and Bailey can grab me, I knock them down with Christmas-colored fireballs. Before Vampire Me can attack, I fire my eye-beams and strike her down. Then I turn my eye-beams over to Adrian and free her. I know I'm not your daughter, I tell her, but I won't go back home knowing I left you here to die. Now get out of here! I give Adrian cover while she runs out. I don't know how far she'll get, but at least I'll sleep good when I get back home. I'm still not used to calling Mouse's house home yet. Suddenly, those girls turn into giant bats and come flying at me. I turn and run back outside. I don't know which way to run. Then I remember I can fly and leap off the railing. Those red discs appear under my feet again. It's not hard getting the hang of them, kind of like rollerblades. I just hope I can stay ahead of those bats. Perspective, Felicia Mirren. I want to go and look for Cousin Ariel, but knocking out this reactor must come first. These vampires must never open any more portals to other universes. Mayor Gunter's got lots and lots of vampires at his disposal. I keep fighting them back as hard as I can. It's bad, comic book nerds. It seems like I knock a few vampires away, and then my spider instincts tell me there are more coming. Everybody else is managing to keep the majority of the other vampires away. I can't believe Aileen's younger cousin keeps driving that little sputtering car around like it's her favorite toy. As long as those twins can stay ahead of the game, I can make for the reactor. Most importantly, Bella's keeping Mayor Gunter busy with her. Bella keeps knocking him down, but he keeps getting right back up again. I've got to reach that reactor and knock it out. I've only been a spider girl for over a year, but I've been trying to be a good Mirren. I've been trying to make a difference. I know I've got to keep making a difference. Just as a few vampires are ready to get the drop on me, Carter Cross gets the drop on them with his mongoose bike, and that gives me the opening I need. Thanks, kid, I tell him. Spirit and guts. He quickly takes off again as I'm making my 8 legs work to quickly get me to the main control panel. I happen to be a science whiz, but I'm not trying to turn off the reactor by traditional means. I'm gonna destroy this thing. Keep your hands off that reactor! A voice calls out. I look to see Cousin Ariel staring hard at me now. Her red eyes are really glowing, and her fangs are glistening and sharp. That ugly vampire face. Oh no, those vampires turned you, I gasp. Just then I start to feel dizzy. I'm getting very tired. I'm sinking into a deep sleep. I feel so weak. I can't stand feeling I suddenly cry out when I hear how loud my spider instinct is. I quickly come back alive and smack Ariel away as she's about to bite me. I rise up on my 8 legs again. I can't believe I forgot about that glam thing vampires do. That's an experience for you. Then I'm wondering if Bella can glam people too. More and more vampires are coming in through the windows. If I'm gonna destroy this reactor, I gotta do it now. I raise my humanoid arms and throw my mutant spider strength into the panel. Hopefully it blows up fast. The panel, I mean, not the reactor. We gotta be able to get home before that happens, right? I smash the control panel and bang it up pretty good, but no sparks or sputters. I do it again. Still nothing. Then I scream and hit it one more time. Just then I feel my spider instinct. I turn and look to see another Ariel. This one's got glowing hair and is flying around on some kind of light discs under her tennis shoes. You okay? She asks me. Are you our Ariel? I ask back. Duh, she calls back. I point to the panel. Blast this thing, Ariel, for real. Stand back, she warns. As she's about to blast the panel, she's taken off her discs by 2 wolves. When they're all on the ground, the wolves turn into girls and move to jump a winded Ariel. No! Carter calls out. He slams into one of them with his bike and knocks her down, but she's quickly back on her feet and snatches him off his bike. Let me go, Mona! Carter yells. Oh, I'll let you go. Right after I have you for a quick bite. Don't even think about it, Ariel yells as she unloads on the Mona girl with red and green fireballs. She takes down the other girl shortly after and runs to Carter. You okay? Me? What about you? He returns. They quickly share a brief hug. No question, these two have major feelings for each other. I quickly turn back to the control panel and smash it one more time. I scream when I feel an enormous charge flowing right into me and making me slump down. I'm definitely stunned now. I gotta shake it off and make sure. I hear voices calling out that the reactor's control rods are offline and that the whole thing's gonna blow in 10 minutes. Just then, that sputtering car with the twins inside stops next to the portal machine. Then they get out. What are they doing? Then I see Aileen working on the portal machine herself. Part of the plan. We gotta get that thing fixed for ourselves so we can return home. Madeline uses her compact to become her ghostly friend again. I groan and force myself to stand on my 8 legs again. It's hard to move. I got zapped pretty good. I ain't deep fried, but I'm still feeling the voltage. Come on, Felicia, get up. Your universe don't realize it, but it needs you in the worst way right now. You gotta help your teammates. You're a superhero. Get up! I push with every last bit of will I've got. I finally get back to my feet. This is it. It's now or never, comic book and horror nerds. We make our last stand, here and now. Perspective, Bella Tabon. Mayor Gunter keeps calling me a child and telling me I need to stop fighting him so he can fix the reactor. I laugh inside at knowing I'm much older than him. I definitely saw Aini trying to fix the portal machine. It looks like Mary Worth has cast some kind of spell that's making the vampires go blind. When the spell affects Mayor Gunter, I grab him and hurl him at a nearby wall. He crashes right through it and is outside. Then I can see the rest of the vampires are turning tail and running. Yeah, they know the reactor's gonna go boom very shortly. I quickly warp over to Aini. You okay? I ask her. Just need a little more time, Bells, she tells me quickly. Then I notice Mary's gone. Yeah, she went to make sure no innocent people are around when the reactor goes off. I'm sure she'll be back shortly. Just then, everybody else comes over to where we are. When we're hearing how many minutes are left, and they're decreasing fast, I'll admit I'm getting scared over here. I'm wondering if this is what'll finally be the end of me. Or will Thornton Gillian again have the last laugh? Nah, I can't think about myself like that, not right now. Aini's working her soldering gun and fusing circuits together. It amazes me what this little mouse can do with electronics. I mean, she's made so many wonderful toys for us to fight other supernatural bad guys with, including those sunlight gauntlets. She's a real tinker. Back up, everybody, I say. Don't crowd her, let her work. I can see how scared Aini is. I don't think she's ever had to work under pressure like this before. At one point, she groans and backs away. I can't do it, she squeaks. Yes, you can, Aileen, Felicia says softly. This is you. This is your superpower. This is what you do. You can do this. You must. Aini nods, takes a deep breath, and goes back to work. So many complex circuits here, she mutters. The rest of us keep an eye out for possible vampire attackers. None of them come back in, though. Okay, I spoke too soon. That other Ariel Mirren appears with her versions of Mona Abels and Bailey Downs. I point right at them. You three better just run while you have the chance. No need, the other Ariel says. We'll stop Mouse before she can fix the portal machine. Aini quickly raises her arm and clicks on her sun lamp, making them get back fast. Yeah, I got your mouse right here. Just then our Ariel is flying on light discs. No way you're stopping this, she tells those vampires. You may be bloodsuckers, but I have Arcadius powers. The other Ariel laughs. It won't matter after one of us bites you. You'll stay here and be one of us. Once you feel the same hunger we feel, then you'll help us. Our Ariel's hands burn with red and green fires now. If I have to stay here in this universe to make sure you don't ever make another portal, then I'm okay with that. The vampire Ariel doesn't look so confident now. You're a Mirren. There's no way you'd sacrifice yourself. It's not in your blood. You see that giant spider there? Our Ariel returns. She's a Mirren. She's the one who's keeping our spirits up and convincing us we need to do the right thing. I know what Mom did to both of us. She shakes her head quickly. I won't be like her. Mom did me a huge solid by disowning me. I can decide what I want to do with my own life. I don't have to live up to expectations other than my own. So I'm choosing to stay behind. I will not let you win. None of us here will. Vampire Ariel screams and flies right at our Ariel. Our Ariel screams herself and unleashes her full powers on her vampire counterpart. Before long, the vampire is flat on her back, smoke's fuming off her body. I don't think she's dead, but she's not healing up very fast either. It's then when Mona and Bailey turn into giant bats and flee. I doubt they'll clear the blast in time. Done! Aini cries. I did it! It's ready! We have to act fast! Only 2 minutes left! Just then, Mary Worth appears. I have used my most powerful white magics to move any mortals out of this state. I am weakened as a result. Mary must have really taxed herself. She uses Maddie's compact and returns into the mirror realm. Maddie's with us again. We can go home, cousin, Aini tells her. Ariel turns to us and lands. That's right, all of you go home. Like I said, I'm staying behind to destroy this thing, once and for all. Perspective, Carter Cross. When Ariel said that, my stomach and my heart get heavy fast. I approach Ariel. You can't do this. Ariel gulps a little when she sees me start crying. I never thought I'd really care about Ariel Mirren that much. She's got tears of her own now. I'm sorry, Carter, she chokes out. I'm the only one who can destroy this thing the way it needs to be destroyed. Those vampires can never activate this machine ever again. But The blast, I choke back. Then Madeline approaches her. No, Ariel, no! If you have another plan, Mouse, there won't be enough time. We're in the final minute now. She yells at all of us. You have to go, now! Bella turns to Aileen. Fire it up, Aini. Yesterday. On it, Bells. It ain't long before Aileen has a portal opening up. It's gotta get big enough before we can all leave. I turn back to Ariel. It can't end like this for you, I tell her. It's not fair. Ariel nods quickly. I know. But we don't have time to make another plan. It has to be me, Carter. My mom was the reason why this Ariel made the Earth here what it is. She's not my mom, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make it right. She's crying again. Please understand. Okay, let's get moving, Aileen yells. We're almost out of time. Ariel's hurting the same way I am. I'll always be with you, Carter. She turns to Madeline. You too, Mouse. Your family took me in when mine kicked me to the curb. This is how I repay that. Madeline quickly hugs Ariel before she runs into the portal behind that giant spider. Then I'm staying too, I tell Ariel. She shakes her head. No, Carter, you won't. Bella, get Carter out of here. Bella grabs me and throws me through the portal. Bella gives Ariel a thumbs up. Ariel gives a thumbs up back. Then Bella dives through the portal. Before I can attempt to go back through, the portal closes for the last time. Epilogue, Perspective, Ariel Mirren. This is really it, the final 5 seconds. I use my Christmas powers and blast the main reactor controls one last time. As soon as the timer hits 0, I start to see the explosion coming from the control panel. At the same time, I see my life flashing right before my eyes. And then, I suddenly remember something. Queen Arcadia had control of my body when she possessed me back in December. I remember everything Queen Arcadia did. I recall when she captured Mona Abels first. Queen Arcadia turned into something like lightning energy and went into an electrical outlet. Then she appeared in front of Mona by coming out of a street lamp above her. She became me again before capturing Mona. I change myself into lightning energy and go right into the portal machine. My energy causes the machine to overload to the point where it explodes. There's no way the vampires are going to get this thing to work ever again. Of course, the blast wave might have finished it off anyway. I merge with the last of the energies that were keeping the portal open and shoot right for it. And before I realize what's happening, I'm right back on the other side with the others. I scare everybody when a huge electrical bolt comes out of a street lamp near them in Gunter's Square, a park in downtown Village. Ariel! I hear someone screaming. I'm flat on my back when Carter Cross wraps his arms around me and lifts me into a sitting position. You really made it back, he gasps. I nod quickly. Yeah, I did, didn't I? I let Carter help me to my feet. Then I see all of us who saved our universe and the many others out there. I can't believe all this stuff is really real. I mean, I learned that vampires, giant spiders, and ghosts are real. But the concept of alternate universes, I guess science fiction isn't so much fiction anymore. Did you do it, Ariel? Cousin Felicia asks me. I nod quickly again. Oh yeah, I blew that machine to bits. I can also confirm that reactor went kerplooey. Suddenly, Mouse shoots right at me and holds me close. I hug her back. I'm here, Mouse, I tell her. You don't have to explain to your parents why I'm not coming home after all. Mouse looks up at me now with tears. You said home. Well, it's the only one I've got, I say, unless your parents say otherwise. Which you know they won't, Ariel. We all take a moment to realize what we did. I know it's a moment that's going to stay with all of us, especially me. We actually saved our world and countless other Earths. No, Mom, I didn't go the way Vampire Me did. I could never be like you. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I don't hate you so much anymore. I also remember Brian Chunk told me during our mall overnight about being a dominant Mirren. He told me to be my own dominant Mirren. It's my destiny now, Mom, and you'll never take that away from me. Never. You tried giving me to Queen Arcadia. Not only did I conquer your code come to life, I also gained her powers. Queen Arcadia wanted to conquer the mortal realm. I'm going to use her powers to try and help save it. Seeing these others, Bella Tabon, Cousin Felicia, the twin mice, and even Carter with his bike. We saved our world, Mom. I even saved you, for what it's worth. So have a nice life, Mom. Then I see Carter still looking at me. I come to him. We hold each other for a long time. Then we finally come apart. We look at each other again. And then I go with my feelings. Carter and I hear the cheers from everybody else. Like I said, Mom, have a nice life. I'm not even mad at you anymore. I'm free to do whatever I want. I can write my own destiny and be my own dominant Mirren. And I guess part of my new destiny is going back to Strickfield Town Center Mall with the others to see Tiffany get her key to the village. After we all get cleaned up first. Aftermath. Adrienne Mirren walked around her mansion inside the gated community. She walked into her bedroom and sat down in front of her mirror to brush her long blonde hair before going to bed. As she did, she noticed something was wrong. She leaned in for a closer look and saw the wrinkles under her eyes. This can't be, she yelled. I'm immortal. Queen Arcadia promised me that, for giving her life years ago. Adrienne got up and went downstairs. Soon she came to a secret door that only she knew about and entered. She moved through the corridor until she came into a hidden lair there. She quickly gathered the ingredients she required for the spell she intended to use. After reciting the spell, the spirit of Queen Arcadia appeared. Adrienne could see she was very weak from having been overthrown by her daughter Ariel. I know why you have summoned me, Adrienne Mirren, Arcadia said weakly. Your immortality is fading because I no longer have the power to grant it unto you. Your daughter now possesses all of my limitless power. There's no way that I can reclaim them. Her spirit dimmed. Too weak, Arcadia's spirit finally disappeared. Adrienne became very angry and determined. You think you're free of me, little one? She sneered. I will find you, Ariel Renaissance Mirren, reclaim you, and take those powers away from you. She tightened her fists. You have become the bane of my existence. For the last time. Not the end.
Hunter Black by Rob Fields. Simon Griffin sat in his bedroom and typed away. When he finished his current page, he pulled it out of the typewriter and loaded a new sheet. When he resumed typing, he could feel a presence near him. Hi, Mom, he said. Even through his typing, he could see his mom taking his plate and empty glass. She replaced the empty glass with a full one. Still hard at work, I see. Simon stopped typing. Mom, I'm this close to being done with my latest novel. Once I'm finished, I'll be ready to send it out. Just a few more chapters to go." She smiled a little. "I'm surprised you're still using that beat-up old typewriter. It belonged to your grandfather, you know." She paused. "Really, Simon, you'd save a lot of time if you would just use the word processor that came with your computer." Simon smiled a little himself. "Mom, I know you mean well, but Grandpa did all of his writing using this very typewriter right here. He never caved in to modern technology. He used to say that there were some things you just can't replace, no matter how much better it is. Take the compact disc. Remember how the music industry tried to replace vinyl records with it? It never did because people knew. You just can't beat the sound quality that comes on records. That's how it is with a typewriter. I just want to be the same writer that Grandpa was. That's all." "And you are, honey," she complimented. "You've already published 9 Hunter Black books. To be honest, I'm surprised that Sunset Press over in Erie City actually takes your paper submissions." "Well, that's where Grandpa got his stories published," Simon pointed out. "I decided to go with them since they treated him really good. And now, they're treating me really good." "They sure are." His mom reached out and patted his shoulder. "Okay, I won't bother you any more about using a word processor. I'll let you get back to work." "Thanks, Mom. I'll be done soon." His mom left his room. Then he resumed typing. His latest novel was actually the next in a science fiction series which dealt with a villainous character from the year 2250 in the form of Hunter Black, a hitman for hire. Black was both the central character and the antagonist at the same time. Whenever the criminal underworld had a job that required his skills, they would pay his fee. From there, he would get the job done. Aside from a recurring female character named Felicity Scorn, no one crossed him, and lived. The next morning, Simon walked into Strickfield High School. As always, he wore dark trousers, a pressed shirt, a vest, a red bow tie, loafers, and glasses. This was the very same fashion that his grandfather wore back in his day. Whether it was just the love and dedication that he felt towards his late grandfather, or his stubbornness, wearing these clothes may have been all right during his grandfather's day. However, in these current times... As Simon passed by a group of jocks and their girlfriends, he knew that it was going to be the same thing that happened every morning. Dana Shackleton pointed right at him. "Hey, look! Look who's back! It's Orville Redenbacher!" Then she called out to Simon, "Hey, Orville, shouldn't you be at the movie theater?" Her boyfriend, Nathan Cover, sneered at him. "Yeah, fuckstick. This ain't 1955. Get with the times." As always, Simon tried to ignore them. While only a select few knew that he was a published writer and was financially independent, the rest of the school population didn't. Not when he used his pen name. As far as the rest of his classmates were concerned, Simon Griffin was nothing but a nerdy loser. Suddenly, Simon was brought out of his thoughts when he felt himself being lifted off his feet by 2 of the jocks. The next thing he knew, he was being turned and taken into a nearby restroom. Simon squirmed, but he only weighed about 110 pounds, if that. Then he heard the click of the restroom door's lock and knew that he was in trouble. "This one looks good," Dana told the jocks. Simon struggled harder, but to no avail. He couldn't do anything as he was lowered to his knees, only to have his head shoved into the cold water of the toilet. He was held under for a bit before the flushing came. The only thing he could hear over all else was Dana Shackleton and the other girls laughing scornfully at him. After school, Simon was in his room. His best friend and next-door neighbor Connie Graves was there with him. "Every day, Connie," Simon complained. "Every day. They always have to give me a hard time." He told her about the restroom incident earlier that morning. Connie sighed apologetically. I'm really sorry I couldn't go to school with you today. I had to be there real early to help put the school paper together. Whenever Connie and Simon went to school together, the bullies never laid a hand on him. They still taunted him, however. Simon pointed at her. And that's another thing. Those meatheads are always giving me a hard time. They say I need you to fight my battles for me. He looked down now. Not that I don't appreciate you helping me. I do, I really do. He sighed. I don't blame you if you don't want to be my friend anymore. Connie put her hand on his chin and raised his head up. Hey, don't you ever say that again. We've been best friends since we were kids. We swore we'd always be friends. We've always kept that promise. Now, enough of that shit talk. The two of them shared a hug. Then Simon wanted to be alone, mostly so he could finish his novel. He had tried to finish it the night before but hit a stumbling block with the ending. Connie said goodbye and left. Now it was time for Simon to write the final chapters, in which Hunter Black would face Detective Richard Hartman, who had come up against Black once before and barely survived with his life. This would be the final conflict. Simon loaded the paper into the typewriter and began to type away. And then disaster struck. What? No! No way! Simon cried. Much to Simon's disbelief, the typewriter's element had fallen off. He picked it up and saw that there was no way that he would be able to get a new element and repair it. No, the old typewriter had finally had it. Now, he had 3 choices. 1, find a place that would repair typewriters. 2, buy a new typewriter altogether. 3, finally break down and start using the word processor on his computer. His deadline was coming up, and he needed to finish his novel. However, he had too much pride to resort to modern technology. He would never use a modern word processor if he had anything to say about it. He was an old-school writer, just like his grandfather. He decided to go out and see if he could pick up a new typewriter. He had a few ideas of where he might find one in downtown Strickfield. After calling Connie, the two of them got on their bicycles and began riding. Simon and Connie checked out a few antique shops and even the local department store, but there were no typewriters available. They even checked out their local thrift store, but to no avail. They had nearly exhausted all of Simon's possibilities in Strickfield. He really didn't want to use a word processor, nor did he want an electric typewriter. He needed an old-school one. There was just something about the feel of it. Then Connie suggested trying Strickfield Plaza as a last resort. It would be a couple of miles out of the way, but it was worth a try. Simon and Connie pulled into the parking lot of the Strickfield Plaza, which was located on the south end of the village. As they chained up their bikes, Simon looked at the nearly empty parking lot and took an exasperated breath. He remembered that his grandfather had told him how this giant plaza and the mall north of the village would never succeed in Strickfield. Grandpa was proven right, of course. Both the plaza and the mall were full of life and had many of the big-name stores for at least the first year. Then, one by one, the stores were leaving. People just weren't shopping at either place. No, people were too attached to shopping in downtown and the many vintage local businesses there. Now there were only a few select big-name anchor stores left in both places, along with some mom-and-pop stores. Still, what did Simon have to lose? The two of them knew that Staples was still open. After having no luck there, they got back on their bikes. They were almost to the road when Connie saw the one lone store further down the strip, which was called Tinker's. Let's check down there. They rode to the store, parked their bikes, and went in. Tinker's was full of seemingly old odds and ends. Simon looked around to see if... Yes! There it was! He quickly moved to the old typewriter sitting there on the shelf. It looked just as ancient as his grandfather's old one. I can't believe they actually have one of these old typewriters here, Connie said. This old typewriter is Rather a collector's item, they heard a voice from behind them say. They turned around to see a man in his late 40s standing near them. Is this your store? Connie asked. That's me, Isley Tinker, owner and sole proprietor, he replied. How much? Simon immediately asked Tinker. I really need this typewriter to finish my book. Tinker smiled. I can see that you truly appreciate old items such as this, in spite of the fact that the modern word processor is readily available. If I may ask, what is this book of yours about? Tinker listened as Simon told him about his book and about Hunter Black. Tinker seemed to be quite interested. Ah, yes, one such as yourself would be most perfect for this machine. I'll sell it to you for... How does $30 sound? Done. Simon took out his wallet and they completed the transaction. Simon and Connie left the store. Simon secured his new prize into his basket in front of his bike. From there, the two friends rode home. Once Simon was in his room and had the replacement typewriter sat up, he put a sheet of paper in and began writing his final chapters. That night, just a little ways down the street, Dana Shackleton and her boyfriend Nathan Cover were making out in the back seat of his car to finish their date. After many long kisses, they stopped to take a breath. It's too bad we both have parents who are home, Dana said. I'd fuck you right now. Yeah, bummer, Nathan replied. You know, we could always go to the Strickfield Inn. Dana grinned. Tempting, but it's getting late. If I'm too late getting home, I'll never hear the end of it. Sorry. Nathan looked over his shoulder. What's sorry is that you live next door to Orville Redenbacher. Dana laughed a little. I know, I mean, you see the way he dresses, right? He dresses just like his grandpa. He must have been a real dweeb, too. They both laughed. Then Nathan said, That was so awesome how you tripped him up in the hallway at school today. He looked like he really wanted to kill you. He's such a pussy, Dana replied. Connie Graves ain't, Nathan reminded her. She was right in your face when you tripped Simon. You gotta watch out for her. You're right, especially since she lives on the other side of Orville. They'll probably get married and make more little Orvilles. They laughed again, but their laughter was cut short when they felt a presence nearby. They both sat up and saw the man wearing the trench coat and fedora who was looking in at them. Get out of here, you fucking pervert, Nathan snapped. Go get your jollies somewhere else, Dana added. The figure answered by lashing out and shattering the window with his fist. Then he glared into the car. Just as Nathan was ready to protect his girlfriend, the figure raised what appeared to be a Tommy gun. You really should watch whom you piss off, he said in a suave voice. You never know when your actions can come back to haunt you. The barrel of the Tommy gun suddenly sparkled with flashing lights. Simon entered Strickfield High the next morning and saw that many students weren't looking so happy. Connie quickly approached him. What's going on? Simon asked. You didn't hear? Dana Shackleton and Nathan Cover were both killed last night. She proceeded to tell him what she had heard about the murders. What? A machine gun? Simon asked in disbelief. That's what the police are saying, based on all the bullet casings they found at the scene. My dad's on the police force. He said the casings were matched up to a Tommy gun, even though the bodies were burned beyond recognition. Simon immediately thought of his character. Hunter Black used such a weapon, and his victims were usually burned beyond recognition after he shot them up. Now that he thought about it, he also remembered how Dana had deliberately tripped him in the hallway the day before, after the restroom incident earlier that morning. Oh, how he would have loved to have been the one to have killed Dana, as much as she had bullied him. But now, he really didn't have to worry about her anymore. Or Nathan. Simon shrugged. No big loss. As far as I'm concerned, they both got what they deserved. Connie's eyes opened wide. What? Simon, this isn't like you. He shrugged again. How many times did you ever get bullied by somebody and wish they were dead? Simon, we've all gotten bullied in one form or another in our lives, but I certainly don't wish horrible deaths on them. Simon became irritated. Oh yeah? Well, you haven't been picked on since freshman year. You never got your head shoved into a toilet by an idiot basketball player. And while Dana Shackleton and those other bitches were watching and just laughing, as far as I'm concerned, Dana and Nathan getting killed was the best thing that could have ever happened to them. Connie looked dumbfounded now. She didn't even try to stop Simon as he turned and walked away from her. She groaned and couldn't believe this change in Simon. She decided that he needed time to cool down before she would talk with him later. A week later, on Friday, Simon walked in the door after getting home from school. As usual, his mom had left his mail in his room. When he saw the big envelope from Sunset Press, he quickly picked it up and opened it. He found his royalties check and a letter from his editor praising his latest entry into the Hunter Black series. He also found a second check for an advance on the next installment. As it turned out, Simon had some new creative juices, especially when students continued to pick on him. While he himself never went out and harmed anybody, he based the inspiration for Hunter Black's kills on what he himself would like to do to those who had wronged him. Hey, write about what you know, right? Simon put the envelope down and closed his door. He sat at his new typewriter and put in a sheet of paper. He went to work typing his newest Hunter Black novel, remembering that he would need to call and talk to his editor later. That night, there was a party at Jason Weller's barn. The basketball team had finally won their first game to end their losing streak and were celebrating. The students knew that as long as they kept the party away from town, the police wouldn't look their way in the slightest. Jason was drinking keg beer with his fellow basketball players and talking about anything, especially Simon Griffin. You'd think that moron would get it by now, Jason said. Strickfield stays the same, but people change. I can't believe he's still wearing his grandpa's old clothes. As they continued to talk about and make fun of Simon, they suddenly were approached by a tall figure wearing a fedora and a trench coat. You need help, buddy? You look like you're lost, Jason jeered. No, but I'm here to help you, son, the man replied in his suave voice. Suddenly, the man pulled out a Tommy gun from inside his trench coat. Everybody quickly scattered as Hunter Black started firing what seemed to be laser rounds. One student after another started going down fast as the bullets made their impact. Some of the students even caught fire and burned to death as a result of the flaming projectiles. Other students managed to get to safety in the barn, but it would be short-lived. After Black had run out of ammunition, he reached into his trench coat and pulled out an automatic laser weapon from his time of .2250. He went into the barn and started firing. He managed to kill more of the students. What few that were left ran off. Black didn't bother pursuing them, since they were no threat. Who were they going to tell? The police? When were the police ever a match for Hunter Black? The next afternoon, Connie came over to get Simon so they could spend the day together like they had planned. Simon's mother let her come in. You'll have to go upstairs and wake him up, dear. He was up working on his new book last night. I don't think he got to bed until late. Connie smiled a little. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Griffin. She came in and went upstairs to find Simon in his room, fast asleep at his desk and wearing his clothes from the day before. Then she saw the newly typed pages before she went to Simon and shook him a little. Come on, Simon, wake up, remember? We're hanging out today. Get cleaned up. I'll still be here. Simon yawned, got up and staggered to the bathroom. As soon as she heard the shower going, Connie picked up the pages and read them. Simon never cared if she read his work since she kept it secret. He usually let her read his drafts to get her input. She had just finished when Simon returned. What do you think? He asked when he saw her with the pages. Wow, you've really put a lot more on Hunter Black this time, Connie replied. especially the way he just shows up at the Palomo family gathering and starts killing everybody. I'm thinking of calling it Black's Revenge, Simon said. I already wrote how he was screwed over and survived. Now it's just a question of him getting through everybody close to Boss Palomo in order to get to Palomo himself. They talked more about the story as Simon got dressed. She helped him brainstorm new ideas as they left his house and walked to downtown Strickfield. Looks like the new typewriter's working good, by the way, Connie commented. Like a dream, Simon agreed. When they reached Denoyer's Grill, they walked in. Much to their surprise, there weren't that many people there. Usually, many Strickfield High students came to Denoyer's for lunch on Saturdays. You can sit wherever you like, Martin Donnerly told them as he tended the front counter. Connie and Simon sat at the corner. Then she gasped when she saw the morning headline in the Strickfield Journal that was close to her. Massacre at Friday night party. She pulled the newspaper to her. As she read the article, her mind suddenly drifted back to the pages that she had read at Simon's earlier. The article mentioned a barn. So did the pages. Black had used a Tommy gun. Tommy gun shells were found at the scene of last night's party. Black had used a laser machine gun in the pages. Multiple burns were found all over the barn and on many of the victims at the party. Were these events merely a coincidence? Then Connie recalled how the previous book ended when she got to read those chapters. Detective Richard Hartman was making out with his girl Friday in the back seat of his car. Hunter Black surprised them and killed them both at the end. Coincidentally, Dana Shackleton and Noah Cover were both killed in the back seat of Nathan's car. Tommy gun shells were found at the scene, and the bodies were burned beyond recognition. In both scenarios. Connie had a great time with Simon, but she couldn't shake that feeling of déjà vu all day. At the end of the day, Simon and Connie were standing on her front porch. It's awful dark in here, Simon observed. You going to be okay in there by yourself? Oh, my parents are usually gone on weekends, Connie said. Work-related shit. Anyway, I'll be all right. I'm probably going to go to bed. Simon smiled a little. Okay. I'm probably going to work on those ideas we talked about today. You're right. It's time to bring Felicity Scorn back. That seemed to give Connie a second wind. You want me to come over and work with you? You sure you don't mind? He asked. She raised an eyelid. You know me better than that. Simon smiled more now. Okay, let's go up to my room. The two of them were sitting in Simon's bedroom talking about Felicity Scorn, the female counterpart and potential love interest for Hunter Black. Simon said that since Connie was the inspiration for the character, Connie would become Felicity Scorn. Simon wrote a few scenes involving Hunter Black as he interacted with Scorn. The two of them had even talked about having the two characters finally get together, romantically. The more Simon had written, the more Connie would read and make suggestions. This new book was really starting to come together. Simon and Connie had finally taken a break after hours of making more of Hunter Black's world a reality on the printed pages. And before Connie realized it, she moved into Simon and began to kiss him. He kissed her back. Then they continued to kiss with heavy passion, before they both fell onto his bed. Hunter Black and Felicity Scorn met up during a revenge killing. As it turned out, they were both looking to kill another member of Boss Palomo's family, one of his daughters. Boss Palomo had severely wronged Felicity Scorn as well. Black and Scorn were at a standoff and pointed their weapons at each other, neither one willing to back down. Finally, they both lowered their guns knowing that they were good enough to have ended each other's lives. They ultimately agreed to partner up in their quest for vengeance and decided they were better off working together than being enemies. After killing a few more members of the Palomo family, they went somewhere and ended up consummating their new partnership. Connie yawned and woke up. She realized that her head was resting on Simon's chest. Then she sat up and remembered that they had made heated passion together. As she got out of bed, she saw the bags of money and piles of expensive jewelry in the closet and gasped. What did we do? She thought to herself. She had to think. She put her underwear back on and sat down at Simon's desk. She took some deep breaths and cleared her head. What did we do? She thought again. Then the images all started coming back to her. She and Simon had gone out. They had gone over to Strickfield Commons, where 2 of the jocks and 3 of their girlfriends lived. She had gotten into Monica Van Drier's house quite easily, in spite of the security measures. Finding Monica in her bed, she yanked the covers off and relished the look on Monica's face when she was staring into the barrel of a modified laser Uzi. She remembered talking to Monica, but she sounded nothing like herself. She had even seen herself in Monica's mirror. I was Felicity Scorn, she mouthed to herself. I was really Felicity Scorn. Felicity gave Monica a deadly smirk before she riddled her full of lasers. She went throughout the rest of the house and took care of the rest of the family, too. She had found the safe and easily got it open. From there, she had helped herself to a hefty score. After leaving there, she would meet up with Simon, who was now Hunter Black. They would have their standoff, but they would decide that they were better off working together. From there, they would go and collect a few more lives. And more hefty scores. Connie looked at herself in the mirror. She didn't look anything like Felicity Scorn now, aside from the fire engine red lipstick she wore. She got up and returned to the bed to shake Simon. When he finally woke up, Connie explained everything to him. She even showed him the money and jewelry. She ended her explanation with a realization. Simon, the typewriter brings your imagination to life somehow. Everything you type happens. Simon further listened as Connie explained all of the coincidences between his pages and what had actually happened. Simon was amazed with Connie's revelations, but he really didn't seem to care when it came to those who were murdered as a result of his writings. Those people never cared about me. Why should I care about them? Simon sat down at the typewriter and loaded a sheet. You know, I think I'm feeling some new inspiration. I think maybe Hunter Black and Felicity Scorn should just burn Strickfield High School to the ground, with everyone inside. As Simon began to type, it seemed that everything in front of him had suddenly become a huge splash of crimson speckled with some gray. Simon sat, motionless for a moment before his body slumped to the floor, minus the top half of his head. I feel just amazing, Connie purred softly as she raised the modified Uzi she had just dispatched Simon with. After we fucked, I did some writing of my own, lover, Connie said, but she sounded more like Felicity Scorn now. She smirked in the same sinister way that Scorn did. What was more, she felt positively no remorse for anything, not even what she had done to Simon. I know we promised we'd always be friends, but promises are made to be broken. Then she smirked again as she relished the horrible mess that she had created. She opened the desk drawer where she had her pages stashed and felt the excitement of knowing that everything she had typed had come true. Why should we share this incredible power when I can have it all? She read the rest of the pages and knew she would have one more thing to do. She proceeded to find Simon's mother downstairs and kill her as well. With nothing to stop Connie, she got dressed and managed to smuggle the typewriter and all of the pages that were typed on it to her house. After cleverly hiding the pages, she set up the typewriter. Now that she had ultimate power at literally her fingertips, she could use her imagination to fulfill all of her dreams. What was more, Connie would discover that by burning the pages that Simon had written using the typewriter, the events that had occurred would be erased, and the lives taken would be fully restored. 1 year later, Connie was sitting at a table inside of a major bookstore in Shore City. People lined up around the block to both buy her new book and get her autograph for them. She had written the first book in an ongoing new science fiction series starring Felicity Scorn, which quickly outsold even the first Hunter Black novel. Her book was also #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, something Simon had never done. However, Connie also kept the Hunter Black series going, using what was Simon's pen name and cashing in on that as well. Yes, Connie Graves truly knew of the ultimate power that she possessed with the typewriter. All she had to do was simply take it away from Simon. Money, power, luxuries, new lifestyles, a permanent vacation, everything that she could ever want was literally at her fingertips. And her imagination.
All right, my spookies, that was one delightfully unstable stack of bad signals, broken realities, and dangerous ideas. A coded whisper from somewhere beyond the screen, a war across worlds with hungry things on the other side of the breach, a typewriter that doesn't just tell stories, but releases them into the world with teeth attached. Nights like this remind you that some of the scariest horror doesn't come shambling out of the woods. It hums, flickers, and boots up, waiting for you to come just a little bit closer. Thanks for stepping into the static along with me tonight. Make sure you're subscribed on your favorite podcast app because every single Wednesday on the Weekly Spooky feed, there is a brand new piece of scary fiction just for you to enjoy. Until next time, be careful what you type, what you open, and what starts talking back when you were sure the machine was turned off. See you soon.